probably come back to me. I don't think it's too far gone from my brain. It's like, now you know what the song is in my head right now? I love it when they call me Big Papa. Throw my hands in the air, they use a true player. That's the fucking song in my head right now, unfortunately. All right, bros, we gotta get back into Waterpark Simulator. Sorry for the side quest. Like, I be coming up with the best ideas, like low key, truly. I come up with the best ideas. Ayo, did Philly reply to you yet? That I just thought about that, bro. No, yeah, that's so unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But we're gonna continue our Cloud Kingdom. Oh shit. Yes, we're gonna continue our Cloud Kingdom playthrough. So thank you for joining me today. Let me raise my audio. Oh yeah, what song did you want me to cue, by the way? Sabrina Carpenter, man's best friend. Why is she near them? It's called Thong Song. Thong Song. Who's it by? Thong Song. If we could figure out how to like let you guys request songs through Spotify, then I'll set it up. Oh, is it by Cisco? Cisco, okay. I'm just gonna play it. All right, gamers, we're back, and we're in it. Let me. Okay, can we hear everything equally? Okay. Oh wait, I have to pee. Wait. I have to pee. I'm so sorry. I have to pee. Listen. Okay, look. I had set up the stream. I had set up my Overwatch tournament notifications. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a post on Twitter and TikTok, and now I'm going to fuck. I didn't get to use the bathroom, and I gotta use the bathroom. Hold on. I paused the song because I want to hear it too. So wait. Eggpog, hi midget, welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Happy Tuesday. You can set it up. If you can set up the SR command, you'll be fine. Ooh, okay. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll have yellow look into it. Okay, give me 1 second. Thank you. Okay, sorry. I'm back. Okay, thank you for the check-in. The one I use is YouTube. I know one person who uses Spotify. Really? Yeah, no, I would 100% use Spotify because it'll just be like, you know, add song to queue, and then it'll just queue up the song. So like I could play my playlist, and then whatever plays is like, you know. Sorry, I just realized that you guys were sitting in silence for like so long. Okay, but let's get ready. Okay, guys, welcome to episode 2 of... Oh, sorry. Welcome to episode 2. I want to hold you guys today. Welcome to episode 2 of Waterpark Simulator. Oh, hold on. All right. Might be cooked. I don't know if it works like that. Oh. Yeah, I love joining things in the middle of the series. I know, right? But welcome to our park, okay? This is the Cloud Kingdom Water Park. We are doing great in business. I'm gonna show you where we are currently. I'm a little ahead in my other series, like in the game that I played this morning, but that's just because I played longer. But, oh my God. What the hell is going on? All right, so we are currently, we have 2 parks. We have a lot of space. So what we're doing is we're gonna clean up this area, and then we're going to try to, like, you know, try to get the best out of this side over here. All right. Oh wait, I actually know the song. Dong, 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 dong. Oh my God, we gotta clean up a lot, bros. Dong, 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 dong. Oh, my trash bag is full. Kobe. Alright, let's see what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna pick up that trash. Alright, we gotta make our park beautiful for new coming customers. We can't be the shittiest place in the sea. We gotta be the top place. The top fucking water park in existence. What do you mean my trash bag is full? I just started using it. Give me another trash bag, please. Alright, we're gonna pick up all the trash, and then we're gonna sledgehammer everything on the floor. We're just gonna pick up all this stuff. There's a lot to clean up over here. Like, what the fuck was this park before I got here? Like, I'm so scared to figure that out. Guys, just in case you guys want to wonder, this right here, I'm gonna, like, scare you. I'm going to scare you with some information when you find out what that smearing stuff is. You're gonna be absolutely terrified, trust me. Okay, so is every piece of trash picked up? It looks like it. It looks like it, but we're gonna try our best to optimize this park to be the cloudy. We're gonna try to be fluffy, beautiful, and amazing in this park, okay? I want people to come here, no accidents, no mishaps, just straight fun, okay? Also a great start, I know, right? Jeez. All right, let's destroy these building parts. I'm thinking like maybe a big giant loopy slide that comes down all the way from the top of the ceiling. Wait, not the ceiling, but of the sky. And then it just drops down into our pool. And, or maybe like a one of those slides that drop you down into the pool straight. You know, like one of those that you just go, you free fall, but it's like in the slide. I see no clouds anywhere. We're working on it. We're working on it. Let me figure out what I can do, okay? If I can figure out to like if I could paint some bushes white, we could make some clouds. You know what I mean? We could make it work. If I can fucking paint some bushes white, we can make it work. All right, I don't know why there are tires here. It's like somebody uses it as a junkyard area. Like, what the fuck is going on? All right, on to the best part of the rest of the cleanup. Cleaning the poop. All right, guys, in case you didn't know, this right here is dirt, right? These muddy spots right here are dirt, right? But these smearable is poop. I don't know how or why, but somebody in their cruel world was smearing poop in a graffiti-like style. Who was doing that? I don't know. But whoever that is must be the devil, because why would you do that? Why would you smear the poop? And that's so cruel and unusual punishment. And now I have to sit here and mop up poop. Like, who am I? Who am I? Oh my God. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna clean this motherfucking place and we gonna figure it out. We gonna clean this place and we gonna figure it out, and we are going to be the best water park in all of existence. We're gonna make 5K a day. It might not be right away, but at some point we'll make 5K a day. I'm excited because I in my other save, like, I made so much progress. It gets hectic in the future. So what I have this guy who can cashier, and you know, he'll do the tickets for me. Sometimes he'll fail, but he'll get majority of the people in. That gives me an opportunity to go advertise and put out more flyers. And then while he's, like, you know, getting the tickets, that means people are entering the park, and then I'm getting more people to enter the park. So when you have that mass production of people coming and entering the park, look, they fucking wrote their signature in this poop, bro. Like, come on now. But yeah, no, when you have a mass of people come in, it's insane. It's insane. It's so hectic. It's so crazy. Okay, everything seems to be clean. We only have $400 and 1 skill point, so I don't think we can upgrade much. Let's see, where was I thinking? I think the next thing I'll do is upgrade visitor patience, or we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. We just need to go to sleep and start the next day, because I have to do a lot of work by myself. That guy, he does a good bit of stuff at the same time, you know? Oh, is it morning time? Oh, wait, no. The day has to start now. Wait, I'm so silly. All right, we're gonna go give out some flyers. We gotta advertise the water park, the Cloud Kingdom Water Park. Hello, you. Okay, are you coming to? Oh no, you're not. I'm so sorry. Here, you know what? I'm just gonna come back. When you're standing up, I'll come back and talk to you. Okay, hi. Would you like to come, Angelo? Boring.
This week feels a little fragile for a lot of us, but I want to start it by reminding you how much you mean to me.
Aww,
you're such a huge part of my heart, and honestly, one of my.
Alright, let's see. You want a ticket? No. Okay. And honestly, one of my biggest fears is losing you. I don't ever want that. I love you more than I can say, and I'm so thankful you're here with me. Oh, Zenji, wait, what's going on? Are you okay? Don't worry, Ayumi's not going anywhere. As flaky and crazy as I am, I'm not going anywhere. I promise you that. Oh, do we not have any slides? Okay, team. Do we not have any slides? Where the slides at? Oh, did I not put any slides in? Hold on a second. Hold on, I didn't put no slides in, bros. Alright, today they'll have 1 slide. So if somebody wants to use this slide, wait, I gotta, you know. I gotta do this quick. The customers are waiting. Okay, go. Alright, hi, welcome to the Cloud Kingdom. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a slide now. I insta-built it while you guys are waiting. I'm just quick like that, okay? I'm just quick like that.
Yeah.
I'm just quick like that. I just hope nobody snuck in. Okay, there we go. Slide pass, seniors, 6 hours. And the goal is to make more money. We gotta make more money. Yeah, I'm fine. Just some affirmations. Oh, I appreciate that. Zenji. Yeah, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. I'm going on a vacation from the 6th to the 13th. But when I come back, we're just gonna, like, get back into our normal streaming, okay? We're gonna get back into our normal streaming. I just tend to take breaks. I'm just a break taker. I just take breaks. Sometimes I get overwhelmed by stuff and I'm just like, ah! But then when I get back into business, I'm just like going crazy and bouncing off the walls. No, I didn't graduate. All right, 6 hours, teen, no slide. Oh my God. Wait, I didn't get the ticket. I'm almost went in tears after I saw that. Oh, I know. Like, I was trying to be goofy and funny, and then Zenji just, so sweet. Oh my God, they want a hot dog. Somebody wants a hot dog. Plain Jane. Gotta give her a hot dog. Gotta give her what she needs. Gotta give her that dog. Know what I'm saying? Gotta give her that pipe. I'm just kidding. Okay, what do you need? Somebody's drowning. Someone is drowning. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Oh my God. No space in inventory. Oh my God, there are 2 people drowning. Oh God, there are 2 people drowning. Hold on. All right, there we go. I saved both of them. They will no longer drown. and the Ayumii Cloud Kingdom. Sorry, so sorry you had to wait so long, Robert. We had some drowning contestants inside of the pool, so don't worry. The pool is safe. The pool is safe. Side plastine, don't worry. Welcome in, Kaylee. Callie? Callie? Yeah, I think it's Callie. Oh my god. Hey, yo, Callie! Somebody's waiting for water. A lemonade. Lemonade! Oh my god, I can't wait to get the vendors, okay? Because, like, what do you mean? Oh, shit. Wait, I'm so sorry. Can you come back here? No, wait, no. Wait, please! No, man, please! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Add both. Add both. There you go. Enjoy the hot dog. Hot dog. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Or senior slide pass. I love when the seniors take the slide pass and then the teens don't. Like, it's so funny to me. Hey, come. Hey, come. Hey, come. Yeah, you should come. You should totally come. All right, now we gotta go see if anybody snuck in here. Everybody got a pass, right? Everybody got a pass, right? Nobody snuck in, right? All right, everybody got a pass. Just like, you're just double checking. Oh my god. Daxton, don't fall, please. Oh god, he might fall. Oh wait, he's immune to falling. I know I'm a hated person here in the Cloud Kingdom, but I still remain nice. You're not hated. We don't hate you. You want ice? What? This isn't what I ordered. Well, let's try again. Here you go. Oh my gosh, she came back. I'm gonna choke you, Callie. Okay. Hold on, let me get this garbage can. Oh! I'm so sorry, Valeria. I'll give you a free hot dog. Oh my god. Please, please. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't die. There we go. When we make enough money. Wait. 6 hours. 6 hours. Senior side pass. Thank you so much for waiting, Saints. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us. Somebody's waiting for a lemonade. Holy. Okay, it's a hot dog. How can I help you? Would you like a lemonade? And you want some ice? I got you, Robert. I got you. From earlier, you know what? Free of charge. Free of charge hot dog. I was about to whack that dude. You saw that? I was... Okay, although I have two. Okay, I was about to whack that dude. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, wait, my gun. All right, there we go. I need to clean that person. There's a stinky person. Valeria, there you go. There you go. Oh, Lord have mercy. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Cleaning right here. Cleaning. 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 No. No. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't die. Oh my goodness. It's tough out here in these streets. It's tough out here. Kobe. Yikes. This one's a little heavy. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, I gotta go pick up. Oh my god, I almost slipped. Excuse me. Who's drowning? Valeria's drowning. Wait. Let me mop this up real quick so nobody falls. A customer's waiting for a lemonade, but Valeria's drowning. Huh. Customer's waiting. Okay, we have 6 hours. Adults, slide pass. Get in here, buddy. Welcome in, Hugo. It's a pleasure to have you. And then 4 hours, senior. Slide pass. Slide pass. Slide pass. Yeah. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We are lovely to have you. Oh my god, when the pools are out of service. I gotta clean that up. There we go. Now they won't get, you know, bacteria all in their lungs and shit while they're fucking swimming. Oh god. Alright, ice. Thank you for waiting. And then what do you want? Just the lemonade? Thank you for waiting. And then what do you want? You want ice? Alright, thank you for waiting. I'm so sorry you have to wait for a plain hot dog. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for waiting. I appreciate the waiting. I appreciate the waiting. Anybody's thinking? Anybody's thinking? No. Something needs to be refilled. You got it, buddy. You got it. Oh, I'm gonna drop that there. Didn't I just clean that shit? Yo, I swear I just cleaned this shit. I swear I just cleaned this shit. I swear I just cleaned that shit. swear. Yo, what music is playing, bro? Me over here wondering what's going on. Oh, is because I ended up playing a playlist that from what Vax told me to play. The thong song. Okay, nobody? All right, let's see if we can give out some flyers. We got a couple of hours. We got 3 hours left. Hello, would you like to come to the Cloud Kingdom? Woohoo! Yeah, you should totally come. Let me get you. And you should come too. All right, I'm out of flyers. But we're gonna get some people. How what you said? Oh, because there was a playlist playing. Ooh, I need to go out of lemonade. We're out of lemonade. We're out of lemonade. Hold on, do I have 2 free hands? Let's go! Hello. Thank you for joining. Okay, you're an adult. 4 hours slide pass. Enjoy your stay, SB. Oh no, this is the hot dog. No, I'm gonna refill that anyways. Ooh, you saw I dodged her. I made sure I didn't hit that lead. I guess it's waiting to buy a ticket. Don't you worry, I'm here. Okay, 4 hours, teen slide pass. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it, Taylor. Welcome on in. Lionel, it's been a while, baby. Okay, senior, 6 hours slide pass. Okay, I'll read it, but then I gotta double check because I'm like, okay, I remember. Oh my god, there are 2 people drowning. Hold on, the hot dog needs to be restocked. I know you're drowning, but the hot dog. The hot dogs need to be restocked. Where's the other one? Oh, here. Don't fall. Don't tell me you snuck in here just to drown, bro. You snuck in here just to drown, bro? Hey, get in the pool. How do you sneak into my establishment and then start drowning? Like, that's gotta be a crime. That has to be a crime. Oh snap, the EPs and are getting to me. No, the EPs. Well, it is late. Get out of here, you bitch. Spread the love with the water gun. Where's the water gun? We're gonna drop this here. Okay, we're gonna pick up the gun. I spread the love. Let me just throw that. No way, they're drowning. You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. Okay, there you go. Hot dog. And you just want mustard? You got it, buddy. There you go. Oh my god. Where's the garbage bag? Which one's the garbage bag? There we go. No. Is anybody waiting? No? So we're gonna go give out some more flyers. Let me spread the love. Hey! Spread the love. Did she forget why she was here? Oh, she wants a lemonade with ice and a lemon. There you go. Oh, I gotta do this quest. Oh my god, there. It doesn't count. Here, I'm gonna do this guy. Spread the love. Hey! Spreading the love. Alright, let's see. Woo! Let me get this magnum area of puddles where people just keep dying. Sorry. You guys are in fact in the way. This is so unfortunate. I'm trying to save your lives. Get away! Get away from me! Jeez Louise, times are tough around here. All right, let me see if I can clean everything, and then we're gonna repair everything, and then we're gonna see what we can upgrade. I said we were gonna do visitor patience, right? That would save me so much. So after I do something, I'm just gonna, so this is the strat, okay? I'm gonna do something, look up, and then I should be able to see if somebody needs like a hot dog or something. And then we're gonna, as quickly as we can, unlock the hot dog and lemonade vendor, because, bro, there's no joke out here. Ooh, my tongue I put you on with, yeah, exactly. Ayumii, you're beautiful and amazing, and I thank you. Hi, Chris. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. I will hurt you. Okay, let's clean everything as good as we can. Yo, bro is fooling around on the job. Can't you be repairing everything that I'm repairing right now? Shouldn't you be repairing things while I'm cleaning? The one thing that I'm gonna need for real is like the things stay cleaner longer. Like I need that bad. Alright, this is pretty good. Let me repair. Okay, these don't need to be repaired. This needs to be repaired. Repairs the pool. Okay, that's fine. I forgive you a little bit, Daxton. I forgive you a little bit. But this is not repaired. This is not repaired. I'm gonna need 2 repair people. I'm gonna need 2 repair people. Yeah. We're gonna see what we can do though. Alright. But how? But now? How the fuck did that get there? Damn, it's tough in this spot. But now that I have more space, we're gonna upgrade and put some more pools. I think that's the first buy we should do. Yeah, we should upgrade and get more pools. Like, look at all this space in this land. So spacious. Okay, let's get started. Let's look at the pools. Okay, so we got some half pools. So we're gonna do like a little, you know, ice cream. Oh yeah. If you've been good. We're gonna do like a half pool situation over here. I think that looks cool. And then we're gonna do a board situation right here. Will they have enough space? No, they probably won't. So we're gonna put it over here. Yeah, this should be good. That should be good. We're gonna just drop one of these here because it's a necessity. Like, I'm not lying to you. It's not a joke how much of a necessity it is. So let's see what else. We could put another half pool over here. And then let's see. Oh, we're out of money now. But we have more pools, more attractions. Okay. And then while we make money tomorrow, we can set up and get more pool slides. That's gonna be the goal. Let's just fill this bad boy up. And then in the future, we're gonna switch the colors. So for right now, I'm just gonna build everything, go to sleep, get the park ready for tomorrow. We gotta just make the money at this point. Right now, we're just making the money. But we do have, alright, let's see. Research. Okay, ooh, unlock puddles, bigger trash bags. Ooh, visitor patience for sure. Tips. Oh, 100% tips. And that's all we got for right now. So tips and visitor patience. That's my biggest issue. So we got more money coming in, baby. Baby. All right, let's see what's going on. Let me see. I'm just gonna open the park immediately. And then we're just gonna print some flyers, take some of these bad boys. I'll be back for those flyers. All right, did you want to come in? No. Do you want to come in? No. The red means that they already want a ticket. So yellow means that they don't, particularly, they don't know about it. Okay, so you, what about Zaylee? Okay, Zaylee. What about, oh, these 2 people for sure. Ooh, you, boring. What about this guy? Ooh, let's get you. Nice. And then you. Nice. All right, let me just start letting people in. Oh, shit. Okay. So we have a slide pass senior. Get your ass out of here. What the fuck? 4 hours, slide pass senior. Okay, thank you so much for waiting. Look at the line. It's stretching across. Oh. All right, we're going 8 hours, team, slide pass. Thank you so much for waiting, Wilson. Yeah, we're getting a lot of people in today. Okay, 4 hours, senior, slide pass. Yeah, everybody wants a slide pass. Look, as soon as we get like $100 bucks, we're gonna definitely get another slide for one of the other area attractions. Okay, let's see. 6 hours, and you're an adult, and you want a slide pass. Everybody wants a slide pass. Oh my god. I need another slide like stat. I need another slide like stats. Oh my god. And the patience. Oh my god. Of course they want a lemonade. 4 hours, senior, slide pass. Alright, hold on. There's somebody that wants a lemonade. I know the patience is up, but I'm just gonna get on this while I can. You know what I mean? All right, let's get the next person. Okay, Saint wants 6 hours. They're a senior and they want the slide pass. And then what else? Daily, I just saw you on the street, girl. All right, let's see. Senior, 6 hours. No slide pass. It's okay. Ooh, let me get some more flyers because I see some people over there. Hey, Valeria. Okay, 6 hours. Senior with a slide pass. There you go. Let me get everybody in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There you go, Zalaria. Oh, let me just save you. Wilson's drowning. Wilson is drowning. Oh my god. Hold on, Wilson. Hold on, Wilson. There you go. There you go. Ooh, this trash can is already filled. What? The trash can is already filled. All right, where's my hammer? Can't lose that now. All right, let's get in there. Okay, we got 6 hours. Teen slide pass. All right, there we go. All right, nobody's skipping the line. I gotta make sure because people be just like walking in. They just be walking in like, what? Hold on. Let me give out these flyers. Oh, you ready want? You ready want? You ready want? Oh my god, look at all these people who want to come in. Hold on. Oh my god, the line is stretching around the corner again. 4 hours, teen. Okay, here we go. No slide pass. Haley. Okay, let's see who else. 4 hours, adult with the slide pass. Okay, the line? The line? Bro, 6 hours, teen with the slide pass. Wait, somebody wanted to eliminate, right? Oh shit. I'm so glad I saw you while you were walking in. I'm so glad I saw you while you were walking in, bro. Like, that's such a good thing. And you want ice? There you go, buddy. I wish there was like a timer above everyone's head for the patience. You know what I mean? That would make things so much more like easier. I can tell essentially after you play for a while, you can tell the patience limit. But it would be so much easier if I could just visually see it. Then I could just like, you know, you know? That'd be so fucking funny too. Okay, senior. Flyers. Let me go give out some flyers. Esther is drowning. Hold on, I gotta give out some flyers. I know you're drowning, Esther, but let me just give out the flowers real quick. All right, oh, there's a person right here. Isabel, you should totally come. Oh, you're not gonna come, you bitch. All right, wait, they're drowning, they're drowning, they're drowning, they're drowning. Who's drowning? Why are people always drowning over here? What the fuck? All right, there we go. Pick up my mop. Oh, somebody else is fucking drowning as well. There you go. You're welcome, Taylor. Nobody snuck in, right? Oh, shit. No. Get the lemonade. Oh, shit! Puddle has a vendetta. It was ice? Oh, no. Lemon. You know what? Somebody waited too long? I didn't even know they were there! I've been doing so many things! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, get the customers. We got a long line. Okay, this isn't what I ordered. I'm so sorry. Okay, 4 hours, teen, no slide pass. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get everybody in as quickly as I possibly can. Okay, senior slide pass. Welcome, Halo. Okay, I gotta lock in. Locked in. Bro. Bitch fell over. I'm dead. Mustard? Okay. My mop is right here, so let me mop this shit up. I saw the puddle, but I didn't think she was gonna fucking fall over just like that. I'm wait, slide pass senior, 6 hours. Thank you so much for waiting. Get in here, crew. There's a fuck. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. There we go. I just saved her fucking life, bro. Oh my god. Hold on, I'm coming. Okay, 4 hours, adult, slide pass. Oh my god, the Cloud Kingdom is kind of messy, I'm not gonna lie. But we're making mad money. Hold on. Okay, slide, adult. Okay, there you go. We're making a lot of money. Okay, 6 hours teen. Like, I'm reading, but like, I'm not seeing, you know. Oh my god. Guess waited too long for a hot dog. Bro, I need some vendors for over here. Like, the volume people that we're letting in. Shit. The volume of people. Anyways. Okay, so let's see. Senior for 6 hours. Slide pass. Please take the. Please take it. Teen, 4 hours. Slide pass. Slide pass. Slide pass. Slide pass. Slide pass. Slide pass. 4 hours. Adult. Slide pass. Slide pass. Not me accidentally knocking them over. You call this service? Get your ass back here. Let's see. 4 hours. Adult. Slide pass. I'm struggling. I need another worker. I need another worker. Mustard. Hot dog. Both. Get out of here. Hot dog. Hot dog. Mustard. No! I'm slipping on a goddamn banana! Oh my god! What can I get you with? Lemonade. And lemon? Oh my god, somebody's dying. Somebody's drowning. Again? Oh my god. Push that bitch. Fix that bitch. Hey, hey. Hold on, attraction is broken. This one. Okay, I need to clean up this area. Like, this place is bad. This place is fucking bad. Holy. Okay, this place is bad. I need this. I need this. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hold on, I can't feed anybody because I'm trying to clean the place. Oh my god. Oh my god, clean. Who is that? They're sleeping in the toilet. Oh my god, people are waiting for tickets? I didn't even know. Senior, 4 hours slide pass. Hold on, there's too much going on. There's too much going on. 4 hours, teen, slide pass. There's too much going on. Okay, let me get my mop. Damn, you stinky bitch. You telling me you came in here without a bath? You're stinky! Go be stinky somewhere else. I catch up. I catch up. We're out of hot dogs. We're out of hot dogs. Oh my god. Escape it. We can be free. We can fix it if we never fix it. Where's my mop? Oh, where's my mop? Okay, we gotta clean. Something needs to be cleaned. This place is disgusting. Oh my god, I'm sliding. Oh my god, I'm sliding down the slide. Somebody save me from my own misfortune. Somebody save me. Oh my god, no one. Oh my god, no one. Save me. Oh my god. Somebody wants a lemonade. Please save me from the fucking lemonades. It's always the goddamn lemonade. I just want to clean the pot. Oh my god. Okay, we're here. Lemonade. Ice. It's always the fucking lemonades. Okay, got a hot dog. Here you go. Mustard. What do you want? Plain Jane. What do you want? Plain Jane. W. Just gonna drop that there. Just gonna drop that there. I'm just gonna leave the trap. Oh my god, they're fucking falling in front of me. God, these bitches are dying. I'm sorry, Maddie. Get up on the floor, Maddie. This is not what your mother wanted you to do with your life. Get off the floor, Maddie. Okay, we just get that. Okay, are we cleaning this? Oh my god, somebody's drowning. Why are people drowning? Stop drowning. Where's the other one? No way, bro. No way you come to a fucking park and drown. Like, I can't make this shit up. Excuse me. Excuse me. I was here first. Hey. 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 Don't give me that look. I was here first. I was there first. Things are just gradually becoming more and more stressful, and I can't fucking deal, bro. I can't deal. Okay, lemonade. Gotta refill the lemonade stand. Oh God. The way I just instantly sat back in my fucking chair and relaxed. Cause what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? I can't. Hold on, give me a second. I need to finish my tab. Oh. It's tough out here in these streets, I'm not gonna lie, fam. It's pretty tough out here in these streets, and I'm low-key stressed. A girl should not be this stressed out, but here I am. Stressed the fuck out. Ah! Okay. Now that that day's over. Who is that? Oh, that's fucking Daxton, bro. That's our one worker. Oh my God, I need somebody to help me. Like, I need help, okay? I'm recruiting someone from chat. Would you guys like to come help me, please? Please, 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 I'm begging. Please, please, please. I'm recruiting. Anybody? I'll pay you $5. Oh, I never filled this pool. So that's why nobody was over here. I was like, why is nobody using this pool? Because it wasn't filled. That's so unfortunate. Ooh, you know what would be a smart idea? To put like a lifeguard thing, like one of the lifeguard things inside of each pool. So if there's just one in the pool, I can just like grab it, you know? Oh my God, everything is so filthy. Everything's so goddamn filthy. It's like I don't do anything. And you guys see me running around. Like, I'm running around.
No help. It looks like you're doing fine. I'm getting good watch time out of this shithead.
No! No! They're just watching me suffer. Am I just bored to suffer? Am I just bored to suffer? Please. Someone save me. And I have to repair everything. I might get new chairs though. Wait, we made $1,000. Hold on. Even though that was one of the most stressful plays that I've ever done in my entire life, I think we made enough money to like advance some stuff. So what should be advanced? We gotta really think to the future here, boys. To the future. What is going to keep the Cloud Kingdom afloat? Get it? Afloat? It's a water park. Good one, Ayumii. Good one. Not me congratulating myself. I'm the one making it flow. I'm That's fine. You know what? I need your help. I need your help as much as I can get. If I can change my code, like the helper's name, I'm gonna change one of them to Landon. All right, next, we're gonna pick up all the trash bags. Okay, we just gotta pick up all the trash bags. Holy. Okay, is there any more trash bags? Okay, even though, because it doesn't show, sometimes. Oh my goodness, that was tough. That was tough, I'm not gonna lie. All right, good thing I have this random bag sitting around here. All right, let's just pull up this garbage. All right, I just gotta check the pools, because sometimes, yeah, look at that. They just be leaving shit in the water. Like, I'm... Oh, is this full? Is my bag full? God damn it. God damn it, it was full. Any other? Yeah, look, there's just a random bag in the water. What is going on? Okay, I usually leave a bag that I haven't finished completely, like, emptying out over there. Just so if I need to use it again, I can just go back and pick it up. Okay, so our goal is to try to get... Oh, we gotta sell one more lemonade. Okay. Ooh, bigger bag would be really good. Let's get those. Let's get that. Let's just finish up everything. Yeah, there we go. We got everything. We got everything. Everything has been acquired. Can I now hire another employee, bro? Please let me hire 2 employees. Are you kidding me? All right, let's get these flyers ready. let's get these flyers ready. We gotta get the flyers ready. Tomorrow is about to be one of the most chaotic days ever. So that out, that's gonna stay there. All right, let's see what else we can add actually. We're gonna add a diving board to each one. Oh, I could add it over here. No, I should add it over here. And we're gonna add one here. This one, does it have one? It does have one. I wanna get some more slides. I'm gonna get some more slides. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to make this slide, like, you know, fun. Alright, let's do that. And then we got this one. And then let me get one of these. Let me get one of these. Where am I gonna put it? Hold on, let me get some more pools though. I need more pools. And some decorations too. Okay, let's get some pools. I'm gonna get a square pool. Ooh, that would look cool. Okay, so I'm gonna move this over. We're gonna move that one over. Bro is swimming in the water. Okay, let's put that one there. Let's move that one, move this one. We're gonna add a huge one. A huge one. Where should I put this? Oh, wait, right there. Yeah. Don't worry, it'll fit. It'll fit. We gotta figure it out. Hold on. I gotta move this. Wait, do those never get deleted, bro? No, we're just gonna put one in each water. And we just put one in each of the pools. Okay. Oh, what am I trying to move? Oh, we're trying to move this. Oh, wait. How do I... Can I not put these back? Hold on, drop item. That's not really what I wanted. Interact. Throw. Cycle items. Bro! Wait, what is that? Tab? Oh, okay. I'm looking at my keys right now. Hi, Ayumii. Welcome in, sweet pea. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm just gonna drop this. Bro, all my shit is in here. But I can't leave them here. You know what? Wait. I'm just gonna toss them over here for now. Just bear with me. Okay, so the thought process is I'm trying to get another pool right here. And I gotta be able to fit some slides. So we're gonna figure this out. Or no, I like the idea that there's like a middle swimming pool, like one in the middle, and then we got like slides. Yeah, we're gonna figure this out. Me like I want you, baby. Need me like I need you now. But tonight, go crazy. All you gotta do is just at the apathy. Alright, hold on. Let me change the camera around. We're gonna see if we can fit this in here. This looks pretty. Turn this appetite into a club. This looks pretty good right here. Okay. Or maybe not everyone should have a diving board. Some should have a diving board while some should have swimming slides. What do we think? Once you take them out, you can't put them back. Oh, really? Wait, why? Wait, that's so fucking dumb. They need to fix that, bro. That is something that actually needs to be fixed. Okay, we can't add any more slides right now, but what if I do this one? Would this one be better on that one? We're gonna figure it out. All right, let's try to, optimize our space right here. Okay, we're gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do now, we're gonna have like a little lounge area here. There's like, okay, well, this is just for the moment so that we could have like, people using the pools. This is just for right now. I'm gonna figure out like, okay, We need, hold on, I'm like figuring something out. Hold on. Where's the benches? Oh, I'm out of money. Oh, there's one right here. Oh, wait, no. Ooh. Ooh, let's put some, like, flowers somewhere. At the... No, not that one. Alright, let's put that there. And now we're literally out of money. We only have $3 to our name. But this looks pretty nice. What do we think? I don't know why I just have these two random chairs here, but I'm gonna move the other chairs as well. And then I'm gonna set up the benches in their place. So there's probably gonna be one bench there, one bench there. These will line up with beach chairs. Oh, okay. We're cooking. We're cooking. We're making it aesthetically pleasing, okay? Let me go build this. Because for the previous day, I had a slide that I built and I didn't add water to it. So. Will they fall in here okay? Well, they won't die, right? Because, like, when I test this out, like, watch this. Look. Look. It's, like, kind of weird. I wish it could come closer. It's so lackluster. It's so lackluster. Like, I wish it was closer. Maybe it needs to be better at an angle. Would it be better at an angle? Like, what if I put it at one of these corners? Like, it should be able to go this close. Never mind. I'll just leave it as it is. That looks the best anyways. Oh, so unfortunate. Hello, excuse me. Water, please let me go. Thank you. Can't you say I'm trying to build a multi-millionaire business here? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Okay, so but my thing is, if it's there, right? Okay, if it's there, what's the point of the stand then? I know the game's in beta, but the stand needs a purpose. The stand needs a purpose. I have no money, so I can't put my garbage cans anywhere. I can't wait to get the floor tool. The floor tool is so helpful. All right, let's fix this, and then I'll be happy. We'll just put this here. Where's my fucking thing? There we go. Okay, there. We got a slide here, slide there, slide there. Jumping boards here. Oh, wait, that can stay. Now I just gotta clean everything else. Okay, where is... Everything's been built, right? Everything that I bought has been built. And now it's with my mom. I'm gonna leave those there for right now. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it a mess for right now, just so we can get to the next day. Because I just want to make the money so that we can progress. And we just need to sell one lemonade. And then I think that'll get us our second or half a star. And then we do the other quest mission, and then we'll get the 2 stars. And then when we get the 2 stars, we can buy stuff. We can get somebody, hire somebody to do the ticket stuff. And then after that, my life will be a little easier. Because then I'll just be like left with doing cleaning and repairing. Well, actually, no, just cleaning, because we'll have a kind of a dude to help us. Kinda. Oh my goodness. Oh. All right. Day 11 of the Cloud Kingdom, and it can only go up from here. All right. It can literally only go up from here. Like, there's nothing that can go wrong, right? Like, there should literally be nothing that can go wrong. Do I not have any more produce? Let me drop. I'm gonna drop some stuff. The only thing I want to carry is this. And I'm gonna go buy some produce. I'm gonna buy 3 hot dog things. Oh shit. We got a lot of people coming in, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I need $25 to buy. Okay, we're gonna just start letting people in. 4 adult, no slides. Alright. Guys, we've upgraded so many things about this park. You're going to love it. I put so much hard work, and I did not sleep last night, so I hope you like it. You'll love it, right? You'll love it, right? You'll love it, right? Nobody snuck in, right? I'm just like double checking because like I'll turn around and somebody will sneak in. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it'll be happening so quickly. Hey, come on. Famous last words. I say decrease the diving boards and add one more slide and it should be fine. Decrease the diving boards? Okay. Because you know what I do? Oh wait, they wanted a slide pass. They wanted a slide pass. Oh, I'm so sorry. 4 hours, adult. Can I read? Can I read? Hello. All right, 8 hours, teen, slide pass. Have a fun time in there. Ooh, people. You should come. You should come. Oh yeah, you should come. Me literally giving tickets out while, or giving fucking flyers out while I'm getting people in right now. Oh my god, there's like a line outside the door and I'm trying to get people, I'm trying to get more people in. Well, more people equals more money. Oh hell no. Hey, yeah, go away. Okay, let's see, we got 6 hours, adult, and a slide pass. Nobody snuck in while I was gone, right? Oh my god. Somebody wants a hot dog already? Add both? I should just close the hot dogs in. Like, while I'm ahead, I should just close the fucking hot dogs in. What do you think? I think we should just close the fucking hot dogs in because it's stressing me out. Okay, team. Okay, let's see. Anything? Anybody? Everybody's good? Everybody's fine? I need to like raise the notification audio so I can like, my ears should be blasted the minute anything possibly goes wrong. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as somebody fucking starts drowning, I should know immediately. All right, flyers. Get more people. Hey, you should come. Hey, you should come. Hey, you should come. Wasted my goddamn flyer money on this bitch. Okay, team, slide pass. Sorry to make you wait so long. Thank you, Dane. Thank you. All right, 4 hours, adult, slide pass. Oh. Get out. Bitch was sneaking in. Like, come on. Okay, 6 hours, adult, slide pass. Hey, where's my goddamn hammer? They don't understand until I bring out the mallets. They don't understand. Okay, 4 senior slide pass. Why she look like she don't? Why she look like she? Bitched. Okay, 4 hours, teen, slide pass. Welcome in, Barbara. Have a wonderful time. Remember, we only accept people who have showered. Shower, people, shower. Somebody wants a hot dog? Ugh. Oh, bigger trash bags. Yeah. Mustard? You got it, girl.
Yeah.
Starving over here? The fuck got you starving? What did you do? We've been open for like, oh, okay. 10 a.m., 10, 1, 2, wait, 10, 11, 12, 1. You know what? Fine. Be hungry. Be hungry. Ooh, people, flyers. Hello, you should come. Bitch. You should come. Bitch. No. I could have given him a flyer. Wait, who's drowning? Oh my god. Stop drowning. There you go. Wait, there's 2 people drowning. Okay, there we go. Bros, I had to revive someone the previous day. Senior, slide pass. So thank you so much for waiting. Thank you. 4 hours, teen, no slide pass. All right, let's see. I gotta like, you know, mix manage. I gotta like, okay, this. me give this person a hot dog. Because they're gonna die. As soon as they walk away, they're gonna slip in that puddle. No way they didn't. They want ice? Okay, here you go. Are we good? Are we good? I heard a noise. Someone's panicking on the board. Where? Oh, over there. Okay, you want ice? There you go. And what do you want? You want mustard? Hold on, we're out of hot dogs. You gotta wait, buddy. I gotta get some people in. So 6 hours, senior, slide pass. Okay, while you wait, let me go push that girl. Let me go push this girl. Oh, I thought somebody snuck in. I can't tell because sometimes. Oh wait, we need hot dogs. Okay. I don't have money. Oh, I need to go buy a hot dog. Wait. Okay, hold on. Let me see. 6 hours, senior, slide pass. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for waiting. Let me get these 3 people in, and then we're gonna go buy some hot dogs. 8 hours, adults. Rusty Pool's floor is dirty. What? Oh my god, more people are coming. $20 for a ticket. Let's go. I know, 6 hours, teen with a slide pass. Let me just go buy some hot dogs. Somebody's waiting for a lemonade. Somebody's also waiting for a hot dog, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Bro, they've been waiting there for a hot minute. I hope they don't die. Bro, they're dying. There you go. Oh. Wait. All right, lemonade. I'm trying to like manage everything as best as I can. Plain Jane. All right, let's go get the tickets. The people just gonna have to slip on the floor. I'm not gonna lie. I can't right now. Like I can't. Like I literally can't. I can't mop the floor and take care of every amenity inside of the goddamn place. Well, I am gonna have to take care of this filter. Hold on. I know you're drowning, but give me 1 second, okay? Give me a second. I just had to clean the filter. Oh dear God. Oh, okay. You. And then, oh my God, you know I might as well clean it. Let me just get this puddle. It's in the middle of the floor. Hey, thank you for waiting. 8 hours, teen slurper. You look pretty old for a teen. Are you trying to cheat me out of $1, buddy? Look pretty fucking old if you ask me. Okay, let's see. Senior, slide back. You look just your age. Them wrinkles on your forehead do not lie. Okay, let's see. Lemonade. You want both? Green! What do you want? You want both? Green! Hey, where you going? Add both. Alright, here you go. Alright, let's see. That guy just died behind me. Somebody's drowning again. Wait, the filter. I must clean the filter. This is important. Okay, the filter is important. There you go. Where's the guy? Shouldn't the guy be repairing everything? He's so fucking useless. Oh wait, people are drowning, bro. Hold on, wait. I gotta go get the thing. Somebody's dying over there. I gotta get the EpiPen. Wait, hold on. Hey. I saved your life. All right, there we go. I had to get the EpiPen. That person was dying. All right, a hot dog. Add ketchup. And what do you want, buddy? Bro fell. I'm dead. Bro indeed fell. Hey! I know you waited for a while for a ticket, but I'm sorry, I'm here. Teen slide pass. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Let me get the mop. We're gonna just start cleaning up what we can. Hi, Ayu. How's stream going? Going pretty good. Hi, Oz. How's your stream? I guess it's waiting to buy a ticket. No! Okay, add both. This is the last hot dog I can give you. Oh my God, that bitch is dead. Dylan, get up! Okay, add ketchup. You got it. Hold on, wait. Ticket goer. Wait, just wait a little longer. Oh my God, somebody's drowning again? Like, I can't do this, bro. I can't do this. I can't be EpiPenning people left and right. Hold on. They could wait a little longer. Hold on, they could wait a little. I gotta get this ticket. Okay, 8 hours. Senior. Slide path. They gotta wait. They gotta wait. Priorities. No, don't slip. We don't have the time or effort to slip right now. Look at all these puddles. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a palooza of puddles. It was super fun. Oh my god. I actually had a viewer for the first 10 minutes. That's so cute. That's adorable. I'm glad you had fun. All right, I cleaned up all the puddles. The mass of puddles, okay? Let me clean this. Ugh. All right, let's see. Ooh, let me clean this. Oh, good enough. Hey, let me help you. Let me help you out here, bud. Oh my god, this could be so much cleaning. Oh, this is so stressful. Who's drowning? Somebody's drowning. Hold up, but there's a puddle. If someone slips, it's over. Game over. Where's my hammer? Yo, I've been losing. I lost my hammer ages ago. I don't know where my fucking hammer is, bro. Oh wait, hold on. I realize why I can't hear much of the game because the music is so fucking loud. Ooh. Oh, okay. The day's almost over. Oh, thank God. Get better reviews to get bigger tips. I feel like $100 tip is pretty big. 47 visitors. All right, you know what? We gotta get better with the cleaning. So what we're gonna do first, build 2 loungers with at least 1 prestige. Okay, so we're gonna buy. So for us to upgrade and get, you know, we're just gonna put these here. There we go. And then we're gonna move this. Hey, come here. Let me move you. Yeah, let's move this somewhere. We're gonna put 1 bench here. We're gonna put... we'll figure out... Ooh, wait, we could put some... Oh, we could put some over here. I forgot. I totally forgot. Okay. Okay, so then we could put this bench here. All right, I think we're cooking with this idea. Where is it? Okay, there we go. Oh, this is only where it can go. Okay, good enough. There's like a... Don't ask why there's a fucking bush behind the bench. It just looks kind of cute, you know? There we go. Okay, so now we have 1 there, 1 here. Okay. More slides, right? More slides. More slides. This one is much more like, you know, me wondering where I should put this slide at. Probably over here, right? No. I mean, it could work. Oh wait, this one like kind of expands into the pool. Wait, I didn't see this before. Oh, but then they'll die. Then they'll fucking die. I wonder what I should do here. Oh my god. I'm dead. Why does this water park look like a prison? No, it's not a prison. I'm just trying to fit in as many amenities as I possibly can. That's all. I can't believe you said it looks like a prison, bro. Wait, no, leave that one there. It's not a prison. Oh wait, no, everyone has a slide. Why am I putting an extra oh wait, no. Oh wait, no, this one got 2 slides. Hold on. Why I put 2 slides? Why I got 2 slides over there? I got 2 slides for that one pool. How do I delete it? Okay, there we go. So now this one is gonna get deleted. There we go. Okay. Oh, I got $150 back. Baby. No. Oh, I can't destroy that shit? Unfortunate. Where's my goddamn hammer, bro? I've been missing that shit all day. Safety hazard, shaking my head. No. It's fine. They're safe. Skill issue. This place looks like a nightmare to swim. No. It's safe. It's perfectly fine. You are safe here at the Cloud Kingdom swimming pool, okay? Nothing but happiness and perfection for all visitors, okay? You are safe. Your family is safe. You may leave with something, but that doesn't have to do anything with the Cloud Kingdom. That's you guys being messy, okay? That ain't got nothing to do with the Cloud Kingdom. All right, we're gonna clean up the whole area. Hold on. Okay, I'll show you. Into a lever. Just the up better. Oh my God! Thank you for the check-in. Hi, Tushi. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. How are you? Oh my God, I almost forgot to check in. You're so cute. Thank you for the check-in. I appreciate you too. Thank you both. Oh my God, we're gonna have so many people. Okay, but I can finally hire somebody. I just gotta build those fucking lounge chairs. I can hire a ticketer. Hi, Acorns. How are you, sweet pea? Acorns, I heard all the drama. I heard that you are a popular femboy in the community. And I just have yet to meet you. But hello, oh my God. I'm well. How's stream going? Stream's going pretty good. We are currently running the Cloud Kingdom Waterpark today. And hey, there it is. And we're trying to be successful as we are beautiful, okay? We are a beautiful park that is in the cloudy East Cove of the Cloud Kingdom. And you can reside in here and come have fun. It is a bit of like a risk to swim here because you may catch a disease or two. But it's only temporary. Hi, Ayumii, huh? No, false. This is a lie. Oh, that's what fucking Sola told me, that you're a beloved femboy. I'm honestly surprised you're hosting Overwatch Homer, not Rivals. What's the occasion at you, or did you just want to do this for fun? I don't remember if you remember, but I said I was gonna host a bunch of events, so Overwatch is just one of them. I will be hosting a Marvel Rivals one as well afterwards. Water looks like you can somehow give you an STD. No, it's fine. Look, if you ignore the brown bag inside the water, it's fine. Just ignore the brown bag. Why are you looking so hard? Why are you looking so hard at the water? They won't give you an STD. You're safe. If we do Rivals, I want Shuzuko. Well, I'll allow, but it's probably gonna be like the same as like what's happening right now. So you'll get a team up of one teammate, or it'll be all random. Who knows? But if you guys read the rules, you guys have to meet. I'm gonna probably schedule some. I'm gonna help you guys schedule some time, and you guys gotta meet up once or twice before the event starts. So there's no complaining. We lost because we didn't practice. Well, did you meet up? Oh my god. Well, I already signed up for it and I made a request for a rule to add. If you're confused by it, if you're full to DM me. No, that's perfectly fine. I put it in there because I have minimal rules. So I was like, okay, if there's anything anybody else is like curious about. So when we gather everybody into my event Discord, then I will hold a poll and we'll be like, okay, how are we okay with doing this rule? Are we okay with doing this rule? You know, that type of stuff. It's a nice thing to make it spicy. Ooh, okay. Ooh, arrivals turning. Yeah, if you look at the pinned message on my stream, I'm holding an Overwatch tournament on October 27th. So everybody is welcome. And if you'd like to join, and you're gonna be put on a team randomly unless you put that you want to be on a team with someone specifically. I'll allow some mixing. It's not pinned for me, Agu. Wait, where did it go? Oh my god, did it go away? Hold on, I could what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the entire message. I'm gonna unpin this one. I'm gonna do this one. And then I'm gonna pin it again. There you go. Do you guys see the new one? Hey, let's see what else we gotta fix. Okay, nothing here is a fix. Okay, I think all these are fixed. All these are cleaned and fixed. Oh, your girl's working hard out here. This pool looks amazing. I just need a garbage bin. Hold on, let me drop my stuff. Okay, we're gonna just drop that. We're gonna drop that. We're gonna drop that. We're gonna drop that. We did everything we needed to do. We're gonna drop those. I'm gonna go buy some hot dogs. But before we buy some hot dogs, let's see. Bro, there's nothing else we could buy. There's nothing else we could buy. Get more decoration points. Oh, decoration points. You know what? Decoration points. You got it. Hold up. I'm about to lock in. Hold on. I'm about to make this a real attraction. Hold up. So you get some privacy. So you get some privacy. We're gonna add random like squares places. There you go. You know, we should no. We should make wait, hold on. Let me think about this. Let me think about this. Where did it go? Okay. I'm thinking about where to put these. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, we're cooking. 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 All right, put random shit everywhere. Start putting some umbrellas. Ooh, we got some water fountains. 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 A lot of water fountains. Wait, I'm out of money. Oh, let's put some trees. Nature. 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 There we go. Now let me go get building. Where's my hammer? Oh my god. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat these. Have a great rest of your guys' days. Thank you, Acorns. But yeah, Solo's just protecting. Oh, projected because Solo is a femboy. I'm weak. The drama, the tea. I love it. Alright, let me just start building some shit. Oh my god, I think I'll be helping Ayumii with announcement / commentary. Catbug also asked if you would be on his team, so I do want you to play that game. I'm gonna need one more person to commentate as well though. Yellow said she could probably do it. Will you be playing the story game again soon? Yeah, I think I'm gonna play on Friday. Or maybe I'll play tomorrow. I'm gonna have to probably play tomorrow actually. No, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm getting my hair done. Tomorrow we're gonna do something chill. Probably like for the follow. Welcome in, Spicy and Duck. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ayumii. Welcome to my cloud kingdom of the sky. Move the limit. I put random fountains everywhere. Alright. There we go. 2-star rating. Now we just gotta make money and we could hire a ticketer tomorrow. Oh, that's fine. I could do both, bet. Very curious as to who my team will be. I know, right? I'm gonna live stream the randomize, but I'm gonna like pre-select certain people. So yeah, definitely fill out the form, okay? I just need everybody to dedicate at least 1 or 2 hours of their time that day. So you can, oh, that's the next side we're gonna buy. Gamers, look. Look at that side. Whoa, when we upgrade, we could get that side. Yo, our park is looking pretty snazzy, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, do you think we'll get over here too? Let me see if I can jump up in this. Good morning. Hi, Yellow. Oh, we might be able to go this way too. Crazy. Yo, our park is about to be along the block. All right, I think we're ready. Yo, our park is looking different. Yeah, I'm different. Yo, I should put one here though. Yo, our park looking... Oh! Our park is looking different. Hold on. Sorry, Mama Bear just came in here to talk to me real quick. Okay, so last thing I'm gonna do, okay, let me drop this, let me get the mop, and then let me get a garbage bag. Okay, so let's get this garbage bag. Mop. Mopping up the area. We gotta clean up as much as we can. Ooh. Excuse me. Ta-da! Let's see what else we gotta pick up. Anything else? Nothing else. Any garbage? Any garbage? I might pick up that guy because he's fucking useless. He don't even do a good job. I can't believe I paid him so much money and he does a shit job. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Like, come on, bro. I pay you like $300 a day and you do a shit job at your job. Like, come on. I need him to be more efficient. Okay, let's throw this out as well. And I think we're ready to start the next day. Get some flyers for tomorrow. And then we're gonna head to sleep. Day 12 is about to be utterly successful. Our goal is to get $2,000 by the time the day is done. Let's pick up our miscellaneous materials. And let's get to work, guys. Ooh, we gotta give out flyers. We gotta give out flyers. She don't look like she's going anywhere. Where you going, Stevie? Come to my place. Come to my place. I'll give you one heck of a water slide. You'll be wet all day after you leave my place. All right, let's see. Ooh, come here. Hello, yeah, you should come too. Yeah, you guys should all come. Yeah, you should come. Yeah, yeah. You guys gonna all leave here wet. All right, let's see. You want a slide pass? 6 hours in your routine. Let's go. Huh? Who the fuck is throwing brown paper bags into the pool? I have no idea, bro. They need to be sued. They need to be beaten with a stick mercilessly. Mercilessly. Hold on, did that motherfucker... He's getting the hammer. That motherfucker, as soon as he comes out, he's getting the hammer. you think you're fucking going? I thought he was gonna walk by me. I'm the manager. That's right. You know, but you don't seem like you thought about what you fucking did in my place. Anyways, let's get these people in. I am so sorry. Don't worry. None of you are getting him. Let me just put that away. Totally nothing to worry about. You're totally safe. Welcome in, Callie. Don't steal anything. Esmeralda, baby, welcome back. I don't remember you. Are you new? Someone's waiting for a lemonade. Hello, welcome to the lemonade stand. These are the lemonades that I personally give my all in. A little bit of Ayumii saliva inside of them. Every time I fucking look around, there's a goddamn person drowning. Like, be for real. Be fucking for real. All right, teen, no slide pass. Welcome in, buddy. Ooh, our line is stretched across. 4 hours, senior, no slide pass. Welcome in. You sure you don't want to take one of the slides, Halo? We've got a lineup, a beautiful lineup. Adult slide pass. Welcome in. Thank you, Kareem. Stop beating the old man. He snuck in. He's stealing my time, my effort, my money. He's getting the mallet. Thank you for your patronage. Again? Again? The same motherfucker. Learn to pay. Where he looks so sad. He regretted nothing. Oh my god, I gotta head to sleep. Love you, my queen. Mwah, thank you for the lurk, Landon. Thank you for hanging. Goes on a Saturday, so you, my friend, will have my full undivided attention for the tournament. Hell yeah. Also, if you want to send the tournament link to people, like if you want to send it to Snail, Zanji, or any friend you think they would like have fun playing, definitely send them the link. Let them fill it out. We welcome everyone and anyone. I want to have at least 20 people for this tournament, and I think we got 5 already, so maybe 6. We're gonna see. The goal is to get, what are you, a teen and a slide pass? Okay, sometimes like I read what's going on, but then my eyes just like I just gotta double check, you know? Okay, 4 hours, teen, slide pass. Okay, hold on. I know you're waiting, but there's probably somebody waiting for a lemonade. Fuck. There's always somebody waiting for a goddamn lemonade. Okay, what do we got? Oh, nobody wants a hot dog. Okay, perfect. 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 We have a long line. Okay, 6 hours. Senior with a slide pass. I'm glad finally a senior that wants to use a slide. Okay. And then as I said it, I regret it. 6 hours, senior with no slide pass. When they get out. Oh shit. Wait, I'm so sorry. They paid. There we go. I'm so sorry. That person paid. 4 hours, adult, no slide pass. Welcome in, buddy. Okay, let's see. 6 hours, senior, slide pass. Welcome in, buddy. Look, she regrets nothing! She regrets nothing! Another one for that mallet! Another one for that mallet! They're just fucking walking in! Oh wait, he paid. I'm so sorry. You, my friend, get a free of charge lemonade that will come later. Don't worry, okay? Yo! Hey! Stop spray painting, ya bitch! 6 hours, teen, slide pass. Welcome in. Welcome in. Motherfuckers are coming in to spray paint my walls. Look, another bitch sucking. Oh my god. With how many people I'm letting in, there are always these thieves who are wasting my time and my money. My money. Okay, 6 hours, senior, no slide pass. Thank you for waiting. Hold on, I gotta go do some hot dog business. All right, what can I get for you? You want a lemonade? You got it. You want a hot dog with ketchup and mustard? You got it. What's happening? I launched myself! I don't have the time to deal with this. I must be quick. 4 hours. Somebody's drowning. Oh, dear God. Someone's drowning. Oh my god. Of course I landed in the water. There you go. All right, let's see what we got going on. What do we got cooking? Hold on, we might have enough money to hire. Wait, hold on. Wait, can we unlock? Hold on. Maintenance. Janitor staff? No. Hiring level 2? No. Durability? Vendor staff. Yes. Hold on. Oh, wait. I need to get the level 2 so that I can... Stronger hands? No. Hiring level 2. Yes. So now I can hire a vendor staff. Who's this? Job restocker? No, not a restocker. Oh, yes. Hold on, let's get a ticketer. Someone to proficiency. Precision. Efficiency. We're gonna get them. They gotta start working right now. Okay, while they're working there, I just selected someone randomly. Okay, they're getting to work, thank God. Oh my God, they need hot dogs. I don't know if we have any hot dogs in the back. We don't have any hot dogs in the back. I gotta go buy some hot dogs. Let me drop my mallet here. I'm gonna go buy some lemonade and some hot dogs. Holy stress. I gotta work the vendors. That's what you fucking get. All right, there we go. Refill that. Refill this. Okay, you want a plain Jane? I gotcha, baby. Let me go throw out this garbage. Ooh. When you come into my water park, the possibility of dying from a slip is not 0. It is not 0. What mustard? Or 2 people are in here that are... Where's the other one? I saw another one. Do you have a band on? Who doesn't have a band? Somebody doesn't have a band. Who is it? I saw them. I saw someone without a band. She doesn't have a band. There we go. I was like, who doesn't have a band? All right, I gotta make sure. Ah! Looking forward to a great stream. Wow, vandalism both deserved. No, truly. Like, come on. Excuse me, I have to go serve lemonade. Here you go. All right, we're gonna do hot dog. Add mustard. Here you go. All right, then we're gonna do this one. Add lemonade. Add ice. Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful evening, spicy. Okay, what do you want? You want both? Great. All right, I'm gonna help cleaning. Plain Jane, there you go, buddy. All right, we gotta start fixing some shit. We're gonna just start fixing some shit. Someone's drowning. Oh my God, everything's working a little bit better now that we have a ticketer. Oh my God, I had to buy them in the middle of us doing everything, but that's okay. It's worth it. In the end, it'll be worth it. Oh, hold on, somebody's drowning. I know somebody's drowning, but I need to fix these. Okay. Where's the person that I'm paying to repair? Hold on, you're stinky. You're stinky. Oh my God. Where's the mop? This is where he is. He's stuck here. He's stuck repairing chairs. Oh my God. They're all stuck here. Excuse me. Somebody's drowning again? Somebody's drowning again. There's so many people. Oh my God. This park is so amazing. Why did you just say mustard? Oh, they wanted mustard on their hot dog. Okay, let's see. Oh, somebody's drowning for real. Yosey! Anybody else drowning? No? All right, I'm mopping. Guess waited too long for lemonade. Bro, what about me? What about my needs? What if I wanted a lemonade? Sorry, ma'am. You did walk in front of me. I don't know what you expected. I was here first. The stresses of a water park are no end. Okay. Hello. So sorry you waited so long. Lemonade? Easy. Hello. What can I get you? There's somebody sneaking in. Never mind. They're not sneaking in. Sorry, I just wasted lemonade. You want ice and lemon. Did anybody ever call you greedy before, Callie? Because you're greedy. Somebody jumped and I'm falling. Oh, by the way, if you want to play a chill game, you should try Power Washing Simulator. Ooh, I have played Power Washing Simulator. It is very like relaxing. I like this a lot though. There's like so much going on. You can't be bored. Like it when I say stressful, it's more like there's just so much going on. I'm not particularly stressed though, but all right, let's see. Oh, let me go push that kid. Hey, don't die. There you go. Nobody's dying. Let me go. Let me mop this. Thank you for the head pat. Hey, did you pat my bald head? Hold on, I should be cleaning. I'm gonna let that guy do all the... Don't fall. Oh my god. Where? Where? Where's the lifeguard? I'm the lifeguard! I'm the lifeguard! Don't worry guys, I got this all under control. Here at the Cloud Kingdom, we are... Oh my god. The list of things that are happening all at once. The list of problems that are happening at this moment. I can't even fathom to understand what the fuck is going on. I tried, but it did one at a time. I'm weak. No. What you're probably gonna do, you gotta do what you gotta probably do, redeem head pats first and then balls. Because bald lasts less. Bald is short. Hi, beautiful Ayumii! Welcome in. Hi, Phantom. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. How are you? Thank you for the check-in. I appreciate that. Oh, I'll try that next time. Bet I got you. I'm feeding you guys the success to torturing me. Like, you can't make this shit up. I'm sick. No! Wait, why are you sick? What happened? Ooh, new research point. Hold on, there's so much garbage. Jesus. Oh my god, there's a dead person. Hold on. Hold on, there's a dead person. Somebody drowned. I thought everybody left. Hold on, let me go save them. Don't worry, Milena. I'm saving you. I only realized after I looked around my park and saw that she was standing there drowning. Listen, at least you know that you can be saved eventually. At some point, you will be saved. I don't know. I don't know. It really do be like that. Okay, let me fix the board. All right, let's see. 1, 2. Let me mop up everything. Holy. I don't even know where to begin on the mess here. I need somebody to help me clean. Because I have to help. The people who we hire aren't perfect. So I need to hire somebody to clean as well. Alright, let's do that. There we go. Guys, I'm watching this new anime called Wistoria, Sword and Wand or something. It is actually pretty cool. Like, the action scenes are pretty fucking epic. So if you need a new anime to watch, trust, I got you guys. I got you. It looked boring, but when you get into it, it's actually really good. I promise. Aren't perfect? Yeah, more like useless. No, they're goddamn useless. Because at the end of the day, everything is still broken. Like, if everything was at like 90%, I wouldn't be mad. But everything is like at, like, some things they don't even fix. It's madness. Oh, and here I am cleaning up after everything before the day starts tomorrow. I don't get any sleep. Cleaning up the whole park by myself, preparing everything by myself. I don't get any sleep. You know? Wait, what's it called? It's called Wistoria, Wand, and Sword. Hold on, I can double check. Hold on, I'm going on Crunchyroll. When they tell me thank you for the membership, bruh. It is called, yeah, Wistoria, Wand, and Sword. So let me type it. It's actually pretty good. It's actually very, very good. I definitely recommend it. I think I'm on episode 7. I was watching that before I started stream. No, actually I was watching Queso. But I was watching that before I was watching Queso. So it's not a lie. It's not particularly a lie. Just a little incorrect truth, you know? Okay, I think we're done with the mopping. No, we got one more. Hey, I made that. I made that. Okay, let's see what else. Everything is fixed. Oh. All right, let's see what else we got going on. What else we got? We got the trash. Okay, after we pick up the trash, I feel like everything will be, you know. Oh my god. Oh my god. Everywhere I look, there's trash. Na 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 na. Put in there. Ooh, okay, there we go. Garbage bag. Collect everything. Ooh, there's like random garbage everywhere. These people are filthy. Dude, I don't treat my pool area like this. What did I just fall? What just made me slip? Thank you so much. There's an ad, so I can't hear you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Oh my god, is that trash underneath there? I'm so glad I didn't throw this bag away. I'm gonna leave this bag right here. Oh damn, did I throw it out by accident? That's okay. Do we have enough money to go restock? Okay, so I'm gonna drop my inventory. I'm just gonna... Ooh, we could hire a restocker.
Welcome to Kmart.
There we go. Oh my god, why are they so messy? Like I can't... No, like truly! Like I literally cannot. Oh my god, they're so messy. It is fun though. It keeps you busy.
Welcome.
Like this game does something that other games don't. I don't know if I don't know personally if what the game is gonna be like when you unlock all the like all the skill tree stuff. But ooh, durability 100%. Janitor staff, sledgehammer. Let's see, trash highlight. Mop level upgrade. Oh my god, I'm gonna get that next. Okay, let's see about the perk. Floor tool, spray can. Oh damn, I should have got the floor tool. Okay, what can we get for 2? We can buy that. But we have no more money. But okay, we're done for now. Let's see. Push cheaters from your park. Alright, so we just gotta push cheaters. Let's go to sleep. Oh, it's tough out here. I bet it's gonna become an automatic when you get everything unlocked. Oh my god. I hope not. I do actually hope that there is some sort of like you need to do stuff. Like actually, I don't mind if the people are bad because that means like, you know, that gives me something to do even when we're like big and famous. And I'm not just walking around. That always happens in simulators. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, I know. It makes everything easier for you, which is cool in a sense, but I feel like I should still be able to do something. Let's see. Everybody here is going to the park. Not you. Oh, I just realized he said it was boring. Yeah, that's right. Regret everything. Regret everything, you asshole. Oh, you gotta come to the park. Come to the park. No, come to the park, I say. Come to the park, I say. Yeah, come to the park. Yeah, come to the park. Come to the park. Yeah, you better be in there. Next time I see you, you better be swimming around in my water park. Yeah, come to the water park. Ooh. I gotta level up their proficiency. Okay, so let me go start fixing stuff. All right. We gotta get ready, guys. We gotta get ready. It's not easy out here in the Cloud Kingdom streets. Sorry, I know that was painful for you, but I needed to make sure you were clean. Come on, you should come. What do you mean, yawn? Yeah, fucker. Jordan is drowning. Okay, there we go. I had to make sure. All right, somebody's drowning. Somebody's already drowning. We just started and somebody's drowning. This is the worst day ever. There's literally a life preserver next to you. Take this shit up. All right, here's when we start with the general upkeep of the place. All right, there we go. General upkeep. General upkeep, baby. All right, we gotta push cheaters from the park as well. If any cheaters come around in here, we gotta push them out the park. I personally love to use the hammer. Sorry, you're just a little stinky. Welcome to the park. Welcome to the Cloud Kingdom Park. We love and adore everyone who comes to the Cloud Kingdom Park, as long as they're a paying customer. His gamer gunk. Yeah, no, that's a straight gamer right there. Gotta clean his ass before he get here. Hey, who did this? I personally love to mop up people and finish it off with the hammer. Goodbye, Daniel. No, you're never escaping. This is your fate. All right, I'm trying to keep the general upkeep. Okay. There's a bitch in here that snuck in. She don't have a goddamn wristband. Oh my god, hot dogs. No, this is lemonade. Oh my god, it's Lucy. That's my friend. Hello, how can I help you? You want a lemonade with ice and lemon. You got it. Hold on, there was a person that snuck out, right? Wait, did that person just walk in without a pass? Let's see. I'm gonna wait for him outside the changing rooms. Can't stay because I'm trying to sleep and relax, but I love your V2Me. Oh my god, it's such pretty. I was so hi. Welcome in. Hi, Jinxie. That's okay. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you for stopping in. Hey! Hey! I didn't have anything of particular to say to her. Lucy is drowning! Oh god! Lucy, I'm coming. Wait, somebody's waiting for a hot dog. My life was a dot in a fight and I didn't die. Strong before. Couldn't ask for more. They're saying this rocks as they're drowning. I don't know what to say. Listen, come to the Cloud Kingdom Water Park where you have fun while drowning, okay? Even drowning, you'll have a blast. What? I personally love to use a mop and then finish it off with a hammer. I'm doomed. Yeah, that's right. Get that fuck out. Oh, wait. Oh, they do have a ticket. Wait, I'm sorry. No! They're customers. Oh, I gotta look more carefully. Yo. Yo, bro, you can't. Oh, no! Oh, no! I beat up a customer! Oh, no! I'm so sorry! I'm sorry! You were standing in my way, though! Let's be honest. Who's in the wrong here? Not me! I can never be wrong. Oh god, let me clean this up. Oh, you know what I don't have? I don't have a garbage can over for this side. Oh, my phone is like dying. Okay, let's see. Garbage can. Over for this side. I don't have a garbage can, so let me put one like right there. Right there. Right here. Right here. There we go. There's like 4 garbage cans over here. People are waiting for hot dogs, so I gotta do that first. And go in. Alright, let me see. Hot dog. You want a plain one? There you go. Sorry, listen, I'm a one woman working 17 jobs. Yo, did bro just take a break? Somebody just took a break. I literally watched bro take a break. Like, I can't make this shit up. Like, he's letting customers in and then he just, like, stopped. Like, there should be a way to stop them from having breaks. What do you mean they need breaks? 6 hours adult with a slide pass. Welcome in. I'm gonna get them all in faster than he ever could. 4 hours adult slide pass.
Yeah.
Hey. Hi, of course you're welcome. Thank you. All right, no slide pass. Okay, let's get you. W. Okay, for senior. Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of our seniors. Okay, I'm gonna care for the seniors that we've got going on. I'm gonna definitely try my best to take care of the seniors that we got coming into our establishment. They are an important person to our society. I obviously care about the elderly. 14 slide pass. Oh my god, somebody's drowning. Are you back to work? No. Why are people running out? Hold on. Why are people running out? Oh my god, we push you. We're gonna grab one of these. I'm gonna throw that to you. Oh. There you go. I'm sorry, I had to stop selling lemonade because somebody wasn't doing their fucking job.
Yeah.
Let me just stock up on the goddamn hot dogs. Oh, I might as well do the lemonades as well. Oh my god. Did you hear her blood curdling scream? Hold on, let me build this garbage can real quick. There you go. Hopefully, people will start throwing things inside of the garbage can. Alright, that one's built. Wait, did he build one? I don't remember building that one. I put one another place. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, look at all the garbage cans. Okay, we're gonna mop up. Someone's panicking at the diving board. Don't worry, Arlo. It's gonna be perfectly fine. You're safe! You're totally safe over here at the Cloud Kingdom. You say that like you haven't beaten 8 of them? 30 minutes. Oh, me? No, we here at the Cloud Kingdom do not put... Where did it go? Where did the garbage bag go? It exploded and disappeared into the air. Where did it go? Oh my god, people are literally waiting. Okay, we want both. Okay, this is what you asked for. Okay, well, I guess it's not what he asked for. Add ketchup. Is somebody drowning right now? No way. Hello, buddy. Add ketchup? Now I want a hot dog. Yo, bro, there's somebody drowning all the way over there. Wait, there's somebody drowning right here. There's somebody drowning. Hold on, before I save them, let me just like mop this up. We cannot get a case, okay? So we cannot allow them to drown. But at the same time, you know, the fact that they decided to come to my establishment to drown is kind of rude. Bro cannot. What is going on, bro? Are you all right there? Bro is trying his best to do his job and he's just like fucking suffering. Hold on, let me see. Are there people just standing at the food court? Oh my god. What the? Get out of the water! Add both. Let me just save you guys right now. Let me just save them before any more accidents happen while the people at the hot dog stand are. I didn't even do anything to you. You're just kind of dramatic. I'm not gonna lie. All right, add ketchup. You got it, buddy. Here you go. We gotta restock the lemonade. Please say plain. Oh my god. Who's waiting?
Will the dog read this?
No, it did not. It in fact did not speak Japanese. Hello? Somebody dying? I was here first. Listen. I don't know what you expected. You walked to me and I'm standing on the damn chair. What did you expect? What did you expect? Who's laughing maniacally? I'm so sorry. Listen. It's not like I want to see you guys suffer. It's just something that has to happen. Sometimes you just walk around in the Cloud Kingdom and you just suffer. You just suffer and die. It's not on purpose though. We don't purposefully want our customers to suffer. We want people to be happy. What? It did not speak Japanese. It is not speaking Japanese, just to let you know. I don't even know why I'm trying. I'm dead. Bro's bored. Bro needs something to do. Bro should be streaming. Go stream. I'd catch up. You got it. Alright, there we go. So let's see what we got. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to clean up as much as I possibly can. What? Well, now I have a reason to go around and pick up all the trash. Is somebody drowning again? Why are they highlighting the... Somebody's drowning. I'm over here wondering why they're highlighting the thing. Somebody's over there drowning again. Alright, let's pick up this bag and we're going to pick up some garbage. Oh, the day is over. Oh, bro, I feel like 13 years have been taken off my lifespan. Like, just working this job. Just working this job alone has taken off years on my lifespan. And I need to rejuvenate myself. You know what? I'm gonna get myself a coffee. We're gonna get Ayumii some coffee. What do we think about that? Maybe not some coffee. Actually, I got some kombucha right here. It's not really energizing, but it's nice. Ayu, I love you. Ayu, I love my Yoshi. Ayu. She's very cute and bubbly. Ayu. Hello. That'll be yummy. I am the Ayumers. Ayo. Alright, we're gonna try to repair. You know what? He actually did a pretty good job today. Most of the stuff over here is pretty repaired. I don't mind having to do like, 80%. He did a pretty good job today. I'm not gonna lie. He did a pretty good job. Okay, 66. This is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Not gonna lie, Daxton. Not gonna lie, Daxton. Pretty bad right there. Everything else, ooh, 90. Ooh, insta-fix. Insta-fix. You know what? Daxton was on his A game today. He was on his A game today. What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking? Hold on a second. 84. You did good, fam. Hold on. Might need to give him a raise of 2 cents. 77. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. Sigh. It was a song I made for you. It's supposed to be in the way of cleanup. Oh, I love my Hoshi. She's very cute and bubbly. That's adorable. Thank you. Arigato. Alright, now we gotta go across everything with the mop. So, this is where we're gonna need the maid for. We're gonna definitely need a janitor to help us along here. Because I sung it like that. I'm weak. Also, then I just sung it wrong. I'm sorry. It makes sense now that you say it. I'm just a little slow. Just forgive me, okay? Okay, we got this clean. We got this clean. What the fuck is blocking?
Hi, it's your worst nightmare and I am talking to you from my phone cause I'm in bed right now. I got school tomorrow.
Oh, hi, Suki. My worst nightmare, no! Hey, are you allowed to use your phone before bed, huh? Are you allowed to? Should you be on your phone before bed?
Hey, back Ayumii, I found a Halloween picture of you.
Then.
Check your DM, hey.
My DMs? Okay, hold on. Let me clean up everything and then I'm gonna go take a look. Cleaning this. Alright, we cleaned up almost everything on this side of the map. Oh, no, mine. We cleaned most of the amenities, so that's what I meant. Get off the fucking board. Why are you just standing there? Daxton, I'm sorry. It wasn't on purpose. Maybe it was on a little purpose, but it wasn't on truly purpose. It's my phone. Hey, yo. He said it's mine. Who bought you that phone? You see, I'm gonna be like one of those terrible parents that be like, listen, you don't pay no bills in this house, so you do what I say. Oh my god. I'm gonna be the best type of mom ever. 7 Sounds like my mom is crazy.
I am always on my phone when I'm on my bed, or I could be on my TV.
Oh, okay, okay. I like the freedom. Yeah, I also had that amount of freedom. What's happening? Is someone still drowning? Either that or my game is glitched. I don't know. Either way, something's going on. Yeah, when I'm in bed, I'm just always on my phone.
So that's why you hog the cheesecake. Taste grumbles.
That is exactly why I hog the cheesecake. My mom pays for my phone. W mom. We love moms. And don't worry, I was just joking. I'm not gonna judge a mom's choices. I feel like everyone has their own right and their own thoughts on how they raise their children. I'm not gonna partake or care about anything that's beyond that. As long as you guys are safe, that's all that matters. W take. Yeah, W. Listen. Okay? I may be a little slow, but, you know, I do have some common sense. Let's go. Alright, look at this. Kobe! Alright, bam. Any more trash? There should be some more trash down here. No, I was gonna say that you stole the words from me. I'm weak. No, I did not. I didn't even read your message. And she's awake right now because she's working. Oh, W mom. It's a real struggle out here in our economy right now. With all the stupid tariffs and shit, bro. With all the stuff going on right now, like, it's really a struggle out here. Like, you know? Like, truly a struggle. Alright, let's make some flyers. Let's make some flyers. And let's see what we can upgrade. Okay, mop level upgrade W. Sledgehammer for $500 though. Ooh, floor tool. Cashier training level 1. Oh, but we need, okay, we're gonna get that in a bit. Stronger hands, marker pools, jukebox. What can we buy? Okay, we're gonna get this. Okay, I think we're making our way up in the world, guys. The goal is, can we hire somebody else? Please let me hire someone. When will I be able to get, ooh, lifeguard staff? Oh, thank goodness. We're gonna get lifeguards in the future. All right. I need, where would be...
You missed some trash in the bottom right. Hey, just kidding.
Oh, you're talking about me? Are you saying I'm... Are you saying I'm the goddamn trash? You're so fucked! You're so fucked! Oh my god, you're so fucked! Hold on, did we unlock vendors? Hold on. Oh, hiring level 3. We need to get 3 stars. How do we get 3 stars? Ooh, we just need to push 3 cheaters. All right, we're gonna let some cheaters come in tomorrow, and we're just gonna push them.
Hey, I know it's you in the picture
cheaters
because of how short she is.
All right, good night. I'm gonna go watch some YouTube. What did you say? I was in an ad. Oh, don't worry. I was talking to Blaze, but good night. Thank you for hanging, Suki. Have a wonderful YouTube watching. Yeah, what were you saying? Oh, because fucking Blaze was like, hello, Raiders. Na 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 na. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello, hello, hello. My name's Ayumii. Welcome to my cloud kingdom. The sky is not the limit. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hi, Kuma Bob. Hi, Andy Bear. Oh my God. Hi, Melodic. Hello, Lord Efferon. I hope you're all having a wonderful Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining with the raid. And hi, Lucera. Oh my God, help. There's so many people in this park. I listen, okay? Listen. We gotta get on our A games, Chiroth. Sephiroth? Did I say it correctly this time? Thank you for the follow. How was your stream? Were you also playing this game? Come here. Come to the park. Come to the park. We have a cashier now. So they're gonna check you out while I go clean the amenities. Hi, oh my god, hope you're doing well. And yes, I was. Wait, you're so cute. Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you, Rob. We are running the water. Wait, let me pause my music because there's like so much fucking audio going on in my ears right now. Hold on. Okay. We are currently running the Cloud Kingdom water park, okay? If you would like to come in and enjoy the rides, we have the resting area with also the food court in the back, and we have some more resting over here. The owners suck! Who said that? Who said that? Who said the owners suck? Me?
Excuse me, miss. We are officers here investigating a serial hammer attacker. Your park seems to be related, as anyone who says anything negative ends up in the hospital.
Oh, no. I have no idea what you're talking about. I totally don't have a hammer. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe someone next door, or maybe there's a serial hammer person on the loose. I don't know. But thank you so much for stopping it. If you would like, you may get a free ride in our water park for the day. Free pass. Free pass for you. It's looking so great so far. Thank you. All right, hold on. We gotta let her sneak in. Get out of here. Let me get my fucking hammer. You dirty bitch. Get out of here. How dare you try to sneak in and not pay. Get out. I'm so sorry. You almost got caught in the crosshair. Yes! I don't know who you could possibly be talking about. It can't be me, right? No. I don't have people. I run an establishment. I run an establishment trying to sell and make a living wage in this tough economy, okay? Don't you think we have it hard? With the tariffs and then the raising of the prices and the greedy customers. Oh my god, nobody leaves a tip anymore. I'll have to take it. Oh my god, I'll be leaving a lurk. Oh my god, need to grab some noms, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Oh wait, before I forget, let me follow you back. I hope your stream was wonderful. Thank you so much for stopping in. I am as chaotic can get, so
no
just
thanks,
forgive
I'm
me.
happy to agree with the graffiti. Also, I saw you attack her. Look how Dazed is our undercover officer. He's a master in disguise in DM LOL.
A master in disguise is insane. We have to come to. Hold on, there's 3 people drowning. What? Why are there 3 people drowning? Hold on, what's this guy doing? You should go do something. Don't just stand there. Go do something. Figure your life out. There's so many people, I don't know what to do. The money's just flowing in. Oh god, I'm crying and wiping my tears in dollar bills. This is such a terrible time. Hold on, wait. I need to get level 3. Where is it? Hiring level 3. Ooh, we're gonna get this. So then when we get and unlock. Hold on, is there anybody stinky? I literally gotta go man the food station. Oh my god. When can I hire vendors? Add ice. Don't worry. I'm giving the ice right now. Wait, hold on. Mustard. Don't worry, I'm giving it to you right now. Don't worry. I'm quick and with it. I know exactly what I got to do. I ketchup. Here's your ketchup. Thank you so much for thank you. Hello. Ice. Hold on, there's somebody who snuck in. Someone who's in here without a pass. I saw a ne'er-do-well.
These nuts are level 8. Because of the letters.
Nuts is crazy. Hold on, somebody came in here. Where's my hammer? I guess I'm just gonna have to mop them up. Oh my god. Don't worry. I'm coming to save you. Ayu to the rescue. Hold on, we're gonna look and inspect every person. We're going to watch and inspect every person. You walked in my way. Listen, Listen, I don't make it up, okay? I don't make it up. I was standing there first. You walked into my mop. I guess I also walked into my mop. You walked into my mop, and now you're on the ground. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not gonna stop mopping for you. I gotta get the place clean. Like, what do you think this is, man? Hold on. I gotta give them. You want lemonade? I got you. Lemonade. Ice. Boom. Add both. Add both. Lemonade. 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 Oh no, where's the person that snuck in? I'm looking around. I see nobody. Ice. You want a hot dog? Bro, can you? Oh. That's right. Get it up your ass. 4 hours, T, no slide pass. W customer harassment. The one thing that I'm always good at is harassing the customers, bro. But he didn't pay, so he's not a customer. He's a ne'er-do-well. Oh my god, Ayumii, did you watch the new Holland MV I sent you? No, I didn't. Oh my god. I had a weird day today. Okay, there you go. Take that over. Restock. Hold on. I'm going to go get some hot dogs. And some lemonade. Oh! Excuse me. Alright, hello. Thank you so much for waiting. There you go. I need to push one more bad person. Do you think we'll have one more bad person come in before the day is over? And then we'll be at 3 stars. 3 stars. Hello, hi Melanie. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. How are you? Thank you for coming in. Did you come in with the rave with the Sarah? I'm cleaning. 3 whole stars. Oh my god, I know. We're moving up in the
Bad
world.
person. Quick bottom right.
Oh, no. Not me. Why would I be a bad person? Look at me. I'm so nice and so sweet and so cute. How could I be me? How could I not be nice? How could I be bad? I heard an evil laugh. Who's laughing? Is it somebody without a pass? Where's the trash bin? Right here. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Welcome to my club, kingdom where the sky is not the limit. Oh god, somebody's drowning. Wait, I gotta clean the floor first. Hold on. I know as important it is to save you from your drowning, I gotta clean the floor. So you gotta wait, brother. Hold on. Don't worry. Don't worry. Vincent, I know it's tough out here. Sometimes you can't really trust anybody, but you should just take the dive, you know? Just go straight head first. Regardless if you survive the encounter or not, you should just take the dive, okay? It's pretty important. Okay, let me just clean up around here. It's pretty dirty. It's pretty dirty. You want a hot dog? Listen, my hands just touch the garbage off the floor. Here you go. Enjoy that hot dog. I made sure to lick it for you. You would like ice? Just ice? Yeah. No lemons? Give me money! Okay, hold on. Somebody's drowning. Somebody's drowning. Come here. That's right. You're safe now, buddy. You're safe. You're safe now. Be grateful. Listen. Listen. I tell the other people. You walk in front of the mop, you get knocked over. I don't know what you want me to tell you, Ford. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Who walks in front of somebody mopping? You walk around. It's literally common knowledge. Walk around. Look at all this space. Look at all this space. I'm over here in the little corner mopping. And you know what people want to do? They just want to walk in front of me. Like, come on. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you were joining. So sorry, Carter. Well, we all saw you violate that guy with a mop. Listen. Oh. I saved your life. The New Yorker in hurricane. He can wait. I gotta give somebody a hot dog. Hold on. Wait, this is the lemonade stand. Hold on. There are 3 people. There's 3 fucking people drowning, bro. Hold on. They could wait a little bit. They could wait a little bit. I gotta do this. Na 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 na. Hello, hello, hello. My name's Ayumii. Welcome to my cloud kingdom where the sky's not the limit. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hi, Mulaney. Hello, Raiders. Thank you so much. I'm okay. Where's my mop? Hi, Sativa. Thank you for coming with the raid. Thank you so much for giving them a shout out. I'm being launched. I can see through the world. I can see clearly now. The raid is gone. Hey, yo, is this somebody who did not pay? Did you pay? That bitch didn't pay. She came into my establishment without paying. Welcome in. Hi, it's me, Anfu. Melanie. Oh, Melanie. I'm so sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Oh my god, but how's your stream? How are you? And thank you for the shouty. Of course, anytime. W Vocals, thank you. I'll be here all week. I am the reigning queen and malicious owner of the Cloud Kingdom Water Park. Thank you for stopping in. It is a pleasure to meet you guys. I hope you had a wonderful time with Melanie. I know how to read. Welcome in, Cosmic Black Metal. Thank you so much for coming with the raid. Hi, guys. Thank you, thank you. Where's my mallet? Where's my mallet? Ugh. Jasmine, the next time you come here, you better bring a credit card. I want the black one. Unlimited spendage. But how was your stream? Were you also playing this game? I'm so sorry you had to see me do that. Listen, if you guys come to the water park, I can assure you, as long as you're a paying customer, you will not feel the hands of the mallets. The charges against me are illegal. I'm defending myself, my right to own a business. Shouldn't I have the right to defend what I have built up? Sometimes I may get out of hand and break their ankle or two, but in the end, isn't it all worth it? Because they'll stop their criminal ways. Oh my god, that's love. I'm good. How are you? Your stream was so cute. I wanted to rate someone new and love the vibes, and it was good. I played Adventure Quest, but we were playing this next week. Oh, this week? Oh my god, I hope you have fun. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers. This game is really great though. This game is really, really great. It's really great. Okay, so you know, did you hear anything? I love how I said I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, and then I proceed to start saying spoilers. Did you know they added certain creators in the game? That is all I will say. I thought they only added Queso. They added other people too, okay? They definitely added other creators, so watch out. Maybe your favorite creator might be in the game. Ooh, they did that so cute. Yes, but thank you so much. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm blushing. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Wait, let me give you a follow. Let me follow you. Oh my god. You're a flesh tuber. I don't get rated by real people very often, so I'm very honored. Thank you. Oh my god. But how was Adventure Quest today? Oh my god, wait, Adventure Quest? Adventure Quest? Is that like an RPG? I'm not too sure about the game. It might ring a bell if I see a picture. It might ring a bell if I see a picture. I'll look it up later. Flash tuber, yeah. That's the funny name that VTubers gave IRL streamers. But it's just for jokes. It's just for jokes. Oh my goodness. Let me just throw these out of the way. Let's get that one. Okay, there we go. There we go. There's this crazy cloud VTuber who attacks innocent people with hammers and mops. Bottom right. Where? Where? Bottom right, you say? Where's that? I'm currently in the middle of the screen, so it can't be. Oh my god. But thank you guys for stopping in. If you have to rate in one, please don't mind me. I will be here for a while. We're gonna be playing this, and then we're probably gonna swap to some Marvel Rivals. So if you would like to see an angry cloud VTuber, that's me. She moved to the middle. No! They're tracking me! You can't put any charges against me if you can't find me. Are we comps today? We can. Do you want to? Yeah, we can. I just have to do some planning. I don't know if I'm gonna go to sleep tonight either. So guys, let me tell you the story, okay? So I had to go somewhere earlier today, right? And I had to go somewhere for work to go pick up a check. And so my sleep schedule is like fucked. It's like terribly fucked. But that's just because I end up and choose to stay up late. So I end up staying up till like 8 a.m. my time. But I had to go meet and get the check for like between 10 and 2 p.m. 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. right? So I was like, okay, if I go to sleep now, I will not wake up. And at the same time, I was playing this game. I was playing Waterpark Simulator. I was like, I should just chill and vibe and just play the game. Like, why am I stressing myself out? I should just go outside my house with no sleep, without showering. You know, stinky girl gamer vibes, right? -2. Oh, thank you. Actually, I'm bad VTuber. I show my face more than I'm a bad VTuber. I show my face more than I should, but I do so. Oh my god, so it makes sense. I love flush tubers. I say flushy streamer. That's so cute. That's so cute. Oh my god, I love your vibes. Oh my god, I can't wait to see you play this game. I'm gonna come watch. I'm gonna come take my eyes and peer into your soul. And don't worry, listen. If you like streaming with your real face, stream with your real face. Listen, I know sometimes you want to take breaks because the main reason people do use a model is for personal reasons, you know? Maybe they don't want prying eyes. Maybe they don't want, maybe they just want to take a break, not have to dress up and be on camera. Because the one thing I'm going to worry about... If I'm a streamer, okay guys, I'm gonna tell you something true, okay? I don't leave my pajamas, okay? If I'm in my pajamas, okay, and then I start stream, I'm still in my pajamas. And then, so if I become an IRL streamer, you're just going to see me in the same shirt every day. I'll change the shirt next week, but for about a week, you're gonna see me in one t-shirt, okay? That's just how it is. That's just how it goes, okay? I'm not particularly dirty because I showered. But at the same time... Wait! No, I'm not stinky! Thank you for coming with the raid. Hi, Emily! I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Did you have fun? Oh my god. With Melanie. I'm sorry. I'm not illiterate. Wait, no, I am illiterate. I don't have dyslexia, or maybe I do have dyslexia. I don't know. There's a lot of problems. I can't solve them all. It's too late. I'm unfixable. Might as well just throw me in the garbage can while you're at it. Oh my god, wait. Okay, are we level 3 yet? No! Road to the 3rd star. Make the floor more beautiful. God damn it. God damn it. They're requesting things of me that I can't fulfill. My mind and heart are just not in it. Okay, guys. So I think it's time we start decorating our little utopia of an area. So let's figure out what color we're going to change the floor to. I'm thinking we should test out each color and see if we like it. Oh, I don't like that. Let's change it to that. We're gonna test out each color. So each color is $5. So we're just gonna like waste like $100, okay? Same, but I have like a favorite shirt I always wear. Listen, how do we throw you into yourself? I don't show my face because I have stalkers. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Into the garbage can, smell matches. Yes, I'm toxic and you like it. Listen, I love you guys. Oh, that's that one. Okay. So there's this one. There's this one. Oh, this is kind of bright. Okay, I'm thinking of like, let's do a design. Okay, let's look up some floor designs. Okay, let's look up some floor designs, not gonna lie, okay? We're gonna look up a floor design and we're gonna try to like find one that really speaks to us. I like this one. This one is nice. You can't really see it because I'm blocking it, but Wait, open image in new tab. So like, look at this. This is nice. It's simple. It's got like these little things in the floor. Okay, but what I mean by design is, okay, so get me on this. We're gonna use multiple colors to create a scheme. And then hopefully that will create a design. So I'm thinking, let's figure something out. Okay, let's see what colors we do have. We have blue. What colors would I like to use? We also have to figure out what colors would actually work together. Let's try black. Okay, the black kind of mutes out all. I'm probably gonna make all the attractions purple because that's just my color. Like, look at me. I'm a purple goddess. Which color looks the best though? Which color looks the best? Oh, is my phone dead? I might have forgot to charge my phone. VTuber Problems 101. I got raided and I forgot my phone needed to charge. So I'm gonna be stuck in this position, but don't worry, we're fine. I'm letting it charge now. Ooh, okay, so you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I'm gonna choose like 4 different colors and come up with like a color scheme. Ooh, what do we think about this? Hold on, it was random. So it means every other block will look like this. So it'll be like, this will be done in 4s. What do we think? Wait, something different looks the same. No. Okay, let me cook. Let me cook and then I'll show you what I mean. So it goes black, orange. I don't even remember what color that is. Alright, I don't even remember what color that was. So we're gonna do black. No, that color goes here. Oh, we're gonna be here for a while. So we got black. And then which was the orange? Was it this one? Was it that one? Yes. And then there's blue. I think it was this blue. So this is the color scheme we're gonna go for. So then I'm just gonna do this completely all around. But the one thing I didn't understand was like, what's the secondary business? I don't understand. Okay, whatever. Primary it is. So it's gonna be black, orange, blue. So it's gonna be black here. Let's do black. Black. We're gonna do black, orange. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. Oh, so this one's gonna be black. This one's gonna be orange. So it's gonna be blue, blue. So this one's gonna be black. Ooh, okay, so we start here black. That means that this right here is gonna be orange. Ooh, look, I'm thinking ahead into the future. We're gonna skip one and then put this one here. Don't worry, I'm cooking. Oh my god. Skip one and then put, oh, is this one? Okay, then this is black. So black, 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 black. And then black. Okay, so then we have this one. And then there's this one. Okay, that's black. You can't see it though. So then there's this one. And then this one's black. And then blue. Okay. So essentially, this is blue, black, and then blue. Okay. So let's get orange now. No, let's do the blue, right? Hello, welcome in, Raiders! Oh my god, I'm so sorry. My face is frozen. No. Hello. My name is Ayumii. Welcome to my cloud kingdom. The sky's not the limit. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome in, Boba Oni. Welcome in, Guardian Turtle Boy. Hello. I hope you had a wonderful stream. Welcome in. I'm so sorry, my phone died. You know, normal streamer bullcrap. My fucking phone died. My fucking phone died. Okay, so this is gonna be orange. Welcome in. Welcome to the Cloud Kingdom Water Park, where we are currently trying to set up our beautiful floor right now. You still look amazing though. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Yo, I'm looking at my phone. I see the clearest fingerprint on my phone of my fingerprint. I need to take a screenshot of this and send it to the IRS. You'll never catch me alive. Oh wait, no, sending it would probably be the opposite of what I want, right? We are not sending it to the IRS. We are in fact not sending it to the IRS. Okay, we're gonna make that orange. Bro, what? Oh, this water park looks better than Boba's. What? No way. Boba's looks way better. What's a stream without hiccups? I know, right? Like, you can't have a stream without any, like, you know, mistakes, without any problems. Like, it's just always a VTuber streamer thing. The scuff is real. Okay, I'm opening this up, and I gotta turn on my Wi-Fi, because it's supposed to be on, but sometimes, you know when you restart your phone, and then your phone's like, what are you talking about? We don't know that service provider, even though you've been using it for 24 years. My Wi-Fi phone, please. And then if I even help me if I even say the S word, then she's gonna come up and she's gonna be like, did you need something? Did you need something? Master, did you need something? Get away from me! That's what I need. Wi-Fi. Who is she? No, don't say it. No, don't say it. No. If she even hears a glimpse of it, she's gonna wake up. Don't do it, please. Please have mercy. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is gonna be orange. So instead of black and yellow, we've got black and orange. What are we thinking? Guys, I think I fucked up. You know, it's okay. In essence, the presentation is there. In essence, the presentation is there, okay? All right, I might have fucked up, but that's okay. That's okay. We're working with this. So this is orange. This is black. So this is orange. And then that's gonna be black.
Hey Siri, play Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh my god, no! Yeah, no, Boba's, your water park is absolutely beautiful. I bet. I haven't even seen it yet. Oh, my face tracking is here. Hello! Welcome in! Now you can put a name to a face. I'm Ayumii. Thank you so much for bringing your awesome community over here. How was your stream, sweetheart? I hope you had a wonderful time. All right, let's see. Let's see. This is gonna be orange. Hey, Ayu, I'm probably heading to bed. Loves hating on the stream like always. It's crazy. Did you say you love hating my stream? I love you, Odd. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you so much for hanging. Guys, don't forget, I'm going on vacation. Oh, newcomers, I so should have said this. I have a pinned message at the top. So if you guys are interested in Overwatch or anything like that, I'm holding a tournament and you guys are more than welcome. I'm trying to get 20 people, chatters, VTubers, whatever, and we're gonna hold a tournament and it's gonna be super fucking awesome. So if you'd like to join, oh my god, please, you can sign out the form and we're gonna just have a bunch of fun, okay? Good night for real though. Have a good stream, cutie. Thank you. Good night, Odd. Rest well. Rest well. Okay, let's get the black back. We're gonna get the black and then we're gonna do, okay, so orange, black, orange, black, orange, black. So then this is black. So this right here is black. This is orange. Ah, I'm stuck. Okay, orange, black. Okay, so we got orange, black, orange. Oh no, I don't want to lose the color. Actually, no, we're not losing the color. The original scheme is over there. Orange, black, orange, black. There we go. There we go. So you may be wondering what Ayumii is doing right now. I'm trying to create like a color scheme going on the floor. So it's like pretty and popping, but also like muted in a way. So like it doesn't hurt your eyes. It's like, look, if you walk in here, isn't this like kind of relaxing? Isn't it like kind of... I kind of accidentally chose all similar muted colors, so a pretty good color scheme if I'm not gonna lie. Sorry. I put it together and I was like, whoa, this looks really good. Orange, black, black. That's gonna be orange. I'm slowly and surely doing my best. This is fun though. This is fun. Okay, so this is definitely going to be blue. Blue. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's not too much on the eyes. It was good. Too addicted to the pool life now. No, truly. The face is working. Yay! It's now an abstract painting. Great job. Keep it up. Wait, do you actually like it? Wait, do you actually like it? Or are you just capping? Huh, Blaze? Are you just lying to me now? I don't know what to believe. I think the other color was this one. No, it's a little darker actually. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you so much. There we go. There we go. Much better. I appreciate you, Guardian. Thank you so much. We here at the Cloud Kingdom are normally we are normally as chaotic can get, okay? Thank you for the follow. Wait, let me follow you back. Wait, you're so cute. Oh my god. Do you mind if I stalk you really quick? I love stalking people. Oh my god, you're so adorable. You're so cute. I love it. I love it. I hope you had a wonderful stream. Oh wait, did I ask you what you were playing today? Did you play this? Oh wait, yeah, you're probably playing this game. I'm stupid. Ignore me. Ignore me. Am I what? Do you like my flooring? My abstract arting? You like it? You can only give me polite answers. I refuse to accept anything above a B+. I mean below a B+ is what I really wanted to say there. I really wanted to say I don't want to receive anything below a B+. But you know, silly Ayumii thing. Okay, we're gonna do that one. Then we're gonna skip. And then we're gonna do that one. And then the same goes for this one. And then we're gonna do that one. We skip, and then we're gonna do that one. So this one has to be orange. Black and yellow, black and orange, black and orange, black and blue. Just like my face when I punch you. Or your face. Or my face. Or my face when I punch me. Or your face when I punch you. Why am I punching somebody? What's with the abuse, Ayumii? Why are we abusing people? Oh god, I'm talking to myself. Okay, so, wait, is that the dark black? Yeah, that is. Is that the dark? Okay, I know what I just said, but like, bear with me, okay? Because there's like, you know how like there's like a dark black and then there's like a lighter version. If that makes any fucking sense. I'll give it an A-. Let's go! I'll take it. Taking that to the bank. Also, cutie bottom right, lovely hair, cute bow, looking good. Dates too? Wait, are you calling me cute? Oh, yay, we upgraded. We're no longer a menace. We're cute. Okay, hold on. It goes like that one, and then that one, and then that one. Yeah. Okay, look, you can't really tell, but there's like a little area peeking out, so we're just giving it some color. We're giving it some color. Hold on, let's see what else we got going on. I gotta make sure everything is good to go. So we got this one, and then we got that one. Oh, the top layer seems to be completely done. Yay! Okay, so now we're gonna do the bottom layer. This is the hard part because this is where the pool's coming. So I gotta like, you know, map it out with the pools in my way. Oh dear. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I think this one is definitely, if memory serves right, this one is gonna be this, and then this one is gonna be that one. Oh my god, don't worry. I'm gonna show you guys after I completely obliterate and dominate this fucking floor. I'm gonna show you guys a beautiful artwork. A beautiful artwork. Well, not really art. It's gonna be just me working. It's gonna be me consistently working. Okay, let's do that one. And then you see, a smart person would have done this. They would have done color by color in a fast motion. But I am not too bright. I, for one, did not get the bright gene when I came out of my mother. So, oh wait, I could do this. Alright, there we go. No, you're just a cute menace. Yay! I'm going to attack someone with my mallet. Orange. Ooh, this one goes black. Yeah, we gotta do the colors. The colors you can't see are really important, you know? The colors you can't see. This one's not bad. Oh, but this one's black. Ooh, okay, this one is what? This one's blue? 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 Yeah, no, this one's blue. If memory serves right, and my mathematications are correct, this one is in fact the blue shade. Yes, I'm in charge of her brain cells, but sometimes they don't. She's required to give me my brain cells when she leaves, and yeah, they sometimes they're like they backfire. I don't know what happened. They just like backfire. I'm just like, bruh, come on, brain, you can't be doing that. We're out here working, grinding, trying to get our money, and you want to be stupid? It's just unfortunate. It's just that unfortunate circumstance, you know? Sometimes you just can't help it. Okay, that one. Oh! And then that one. And then not this one. And then that one. And then not this one. And then that one. And then not this one. And then that one. See, look. Brain be,
So she
brain
likes
be
dark
big.
colors now, lol, that's cute, can't fool me, you like vanilla not chocolate, fool me
What
once,
the
shame on me, fool me twice, shame on
fuck?
Ayumii.
What the fuck? Oh my god, bro. All because a while ago, we've got this friend named VG, right? And then, I don't know, we ended up talking about... I'm so sorry, I'm okay. We ended up talking about who Ayumii would date. And I was like, bruh, the only one I would even if it was a possibility, the only one I would probably date would be VG. And then fucking Daz never forgot about that. He's like, I'll never forget this treachery. I fucking love you. Hi, welcome in, Dazzy. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. How are you? And then this one, and then this one, and then this one is gonna be blue. We're currently painting the floor, so this one doesn't require me to do much, you know, much yammering. But just imagine the quickness that I'm using currently right now to paint this floor. Someone else cannot do this in a day, and here I am completing the task in one single day. Not many people can shine on the throne like I can. Like it's like a matter of perspective. Like, you know? Wait, I think I'm done. I used the random Ayumii technique, and I think I'm done. The chaos, the insurance that I hear about is wild. I'm dead. I didn't know that part, LOL. I just thought it was funny. Self-reported. No, you have to remember, you were there that day. I had said it on stream. It wasn't a self-report. I said it on stream. I like this. Do you guys like this? I like this a lot. It's so colorful. It's so colorful, but easy on the eyes at the same time. All right. Lizzie Nation? What an asshole. Who fucking wrote that? These fuckers are putting shit on my walls. I just peed. What am I reading? The owner sucked. No, you suck. I hate you. Whoever wrote this on the wall. Ooh, okay. So now, since we have enough money, we might as well paint the walls and the railings. Okay, so I'm thinking about painting the railings, like, what should we paint the railings? So like this part right here. Should we paint it like a, maybe, like a yellow? I would prefer like a little light color. Can I unlock other colors? Where are the secondary colors? Spray can. More colors. More colors. Give me more colors. Man. I only got... Oh, I see. It does do this. Let me see. Ooh. Ooh. Look at that shine. Wait, that's kind of cool. Wait, do you guys like that? I didn't know you could put like 3 colors. Oh, wait, that's cool. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to paint that yellow. I want to paint... Oh, wait, should we paint the walls like a light color too? You know what? I'll do it. The stairs will be... What color should we paint the stairs? I'm going to be painting all the rides purple. So, okay, let's do... If you guys look, there's like a little shine to it that has all the 3 colors that I put in. It's so cool. I know I said I wasn't doing the stairs, and here I am doing the stairs. You know what? I'll just do it. Because I don't have purple unlocked yet. I don't have purple unlocked yet. So we might as well. Alright, I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to start our new... Did I paint the bush? Did I just paint the fucking bush? Wait, why is this color like this? And this color is not like that? Is it just me, or is it like weirdly darker? Ooh, this place is looking pretty snazzy. I just know she likes vanilla, not chocolate. How dare. I do like chocolate. I do, in fact, enjoy and partake in the chocolate. I love chocolate cake. If I had to choose between anything, I really like chocolate cake. Chocolate cake is really good. Alright, we're gonna paint. Oh. Actually, I'm gonna change the color. I'm gonna do like a... Why is he doing that? Do you guys know why he's doing that? Why is it like painting the area blue a little bit? Hold on, where's the yellow that I used? Is it this color? It has to be this color, right? Yeah, it's that color. Hold on, this is like kind of... Wait, this kind of looks fucking clean. Cheesecake! It was somehow someone you taught because they couldn't spell. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? What do you mean they couldn't spell? No. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna start the park at the next day because I can like do more painting later. And then because I want to unlock the... What? A flock of seagulls? Hell no. I'm gonna deny all charges. Oh my god, you fluffers. Yeah! Where's the mop? You can only carry one? Oh, I have a mop. Let me go give out some flyers. Oh my god, somebody's coming already. Look at all the customers piling in. Alright, the goal today, right? We want... I know they're leaving a mess. There's nothing I can do about it. I need to give... Oh my god. Oh my god. No. No. They're pooping everywhere. Oh god. Where's the poop? Oh my god, it's dropping. Oh my god. You fuckers. Yeah. No. 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 There's poop everywhere. No. I hate you. Oh, at least it's over. Somebody wants a hot dog? Please let me unlock the vendors. Please let me unlock the vendors. Please let me unlock the vendors. Holy, this is a massive amount of poop. Theodore skipped up on an order. You better count your days, Theodore. Don't mess up again. Alright guys, time to give out flyers. Hey, you want one? Ah. I don't know about that serial hammer though. The person who, like, you know, who goes around the city just hammering people because they don't pay. I don't know who that is. I definitely don't. I just bonked her. No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? That's so funny. I literally fucking bounced off of an item and then went straight to him and jumped down onto him. Like, you can't make this shit up, bro. Yo, she's fucking graffitiing the walls right now. What an asshole. In front of my fucking place. So you're the one who put a Glizzy Nation, huh? Who's that? Hello? Who was that scream? What just happened? What just happened? What's bro? Why did bro scream? Wait, did he see a ghost? What the fuck? What the fuck? Why did he just scream? What's going on? Yo, bro is having a traumatic experience in my park and I don't even know why. Hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Here you go. I hope you enjoy the lemonade. Ooh. We have a trespasser. Trespasser. Ibrahim. No, you better not poop in that water. You better not poop in that water. Get out. Get out. I'm still being nice and I don't have my hammer. Get out. Hold on, I needed to do it for a quest, so that's why I let her do it. I didn't bonk her right away because I needed to do it for a quest. Auto ticket. Unlock the ticket ATM via the research tree and it will handle ticket sales automatically at the price. Just a heads up, it only takes cards, so guess what? Cash will still need to go to the counter. Oh, wait, that's so cool. I'm unlocking that shit right now. Wait, unlock the ticket machine. Where's the ticket machine? Where's the ticket machine? Ticket machine? I don't know where the ticket machine is. Ticket machine? Oh, ticket price. Okay, so we gotta buy that. Alright, I gotta go do some cleaning. Ticket machine. Okay. To get 3 stars, I gotta get the ticket machine. So we gotta do some cleaning. So we're just gonna like level up real quick. We're just gonna do some cleaning. Hold on, let me just walk around. Uh-oh. What the fuck is going on? Oh my god, they're gonna get fucking STDs if I don't clean this right now. Alright, let me clean that. Alright, there we go. We're cleaning, we're cleaning. Your girl is working hard. Gotta make that money. We're cleaning. There's poop over here too. This is such a hassle. But we can unlock the ATM ticket machine. That is such a cool idea. Oh my goodness. Are these broken? Yo, what is bro hammering? Bro's fucking doing that chainsaw game. You know that game where you fucking put the knife in between your fingers? That's what he's fucking doing right now. On company time. Get it together, buddy. Get it together. You know what? I've seen you before. I've seen her ass before. She's been here before. She's... Oh, wait, what did I just press? What's going on? What's going on? What? I keep hearing camera snaps. What just happened? What just happened? Wait, who's taking photos? Hey, wait, what this bitch doing? Who's taking photos? Is it you? Not again. Is it him? Is he taking photos? Wait, is he walking around taking photos of people? I'm wondering why people are walking around screaming off the top of their fucking lungs. I just peed. You're an asshole. Is he walking around taking naked pictures of people? That's fucked. Her too? I didn't know he had sleaze bags in the neighborhood. Hello, welcome in. You want a lemonade? Here you go. I made that one specially for you. Someone's drowning. Oh my god, someone's drowning. There you go, buddy. There you go. I gotta save everybody as much as I can. Where's my hammer? Where's my hammer? Guess waited too long for a ticket. Wait, what? Bro's on break! I didn't even know! Oh my god! You wait till you come out. Okay, 8 hours. Clean, no slide. What do you think you're fucking doing inside my place? Get the fuck out, you asshole! Get out! Get out! Sorry about that. You guys have nothing to worry about. You will not be hammered unless you pay. Oh, he's back. I don't have to do anything anymore. New research point. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You shouldn't have put your head down. I'm repairing. I'm so sorry. She's passed out. I knocked her out with my hammer. I'm a vicious person. All I know how to do is swing my hammer. Right, hold on. I'm gonna level up some more by beating and leveling up and repairing all this stuff that my hiree should be doing. But here I am, serving and cleaning and making sure everything is quite alright for all the customers. Alright, what do you want? Ketchup? There you go. Who the hell is putting up these goddamn... Oh my god, you just want to play in the car by the lady. I thought I cleaned this. The fuckhead. Hi, I'd like to enter the water park, please. I'd love to apply for a job here. Very interested in the job of intruder skull. Intruder skull basher. You know what? I think you'd be perfect. You'd be perfect for it. I'm so sorry. Excuse me, people. Hold on. I need to unlock this. Ticket price up. Oh, I gotta get 5 more for this. Alright, guys. We got some more work to do. Excuse me. Pardon me. Coming through. Out of the way. Oh my god, a park starts now. Alright, Apaco, I'm gonna trust you with the hammer. Here you go. I'm gonna leave it inside of the company bathroom and office / office right there for you. You just have to, you know, hammer people as they come and go. I believe you can do it. Hold on, let me just man the hot dog station. Hello, thank you so much for checking in with the Cloud Kingdom. Let me just give you... Listen here, buddy. Alright, what did you want in it? I spit in this drink. You want a plain hot dog? There you go. There you go. Oh, they're dying. They're dying. They're dying as we speak. Very annoying. Very bald. Intruder smash. Pleaded much. Did you just hug 2 of the drink? Yes, I did. Bro got mad because I gave him the wrong drink and expected me to make him another one after I wasted my fucking product. What an ass. Yeah, he paid for it, but at the end of the day, what about my suffrage? Hey, you're kind of stinky, man. Hey, you're kind of stinky, man. I just gotta clean you a little bit. Not me having to clean the people who come here, like, that's insane, isn't it? Sorry, you see me mopping up this mess, and you should know by now not to walk in front of Ayumii's mop. Like, that's like insane. It's insane. It's insane how many times I have to tell that to many people. How many people I have to tell that to? Look, see, she didn't walk in front of my mop. Why couldn't they do it? Over here being silly goobers. Where's my cup at? I mean, never mind. No, Dazzy, you get one on the house. I would love to give you one. Talk to a free. Talk to a free. The bottom provided was tipped $5. I knew you were the right one for the job. I just knew you were the right one. Is somebody drowning again? Didn't I just save them? Excuse me, ma'am. Why are you looking at me like that? Like I'm the problem. You guys are the problem for not knowing how to swim. Coming to a water park and not knowing how to swim must be a skill issue. Because I don't know what's going on. I truly don't. You're telling me you don't know how to do basic swimming? Oh my god, the day's over. Hold on, let me clean up this mess. Wow, this is like hectic. Hectic. So much is going on. You can't even make this shit up. I'm just scared somebody's gonna walk around and poop on my floor. Who laughed? Who just laughed? Talk to a free just for you, Dazzy. Just for you. Oh. I'm mopping. Hello? Learn some common decency, guys. Jeez. Oh my god, the fact that this wall just keeps saying the owner sucks is so funny. Like, I can't. Like, why is that a thing? It's so fucking funny. I received a fine. What? Oh man. I didn't know they were drowning. How was I supposed to know they were drowning?
Hey, did my friends the seagulls come by? I gave them the leftover hot dogs yesterday and they said they would drop off their reviews dazed and quiet.
No! Oh, you're the reason why they were eating poop on us? You cruel, malicious person! I hope tomorrow when you try to get your favorite seal for breakfast, there's no milk for you to eat it with! She's too far. She gotta take it. Hey, hey. I use my good. Sorry, I just had a. I use my good looks and my my ravishingly funny personality to just stand out in front of a crowd. You know what I mean? Are you streaming for much longer? Maybe like another 30 minutes or so. Why, are you ending? Did you want to hang out? Libby, I love how you keep slipping. I know. It's so fucking unfortunate. Never mind then. I'll hang out. Oh, what were you doing? All right, let me finish up this and then I can come hang out with you. Oh, everything seems to be clean. Oh wait, where's my hammer? All right, Apaco, you are being upgraded and you are being given a raise, especially for attacking the bald-headed customer with the hammer. You really showed some great promise today, and I'm very proud of you. On your first day here, you did more than these people combined. I think I gotta pay you $1,000 an hour. Like, you know? I gotta pay you $1,000 an hour. You did really good work today. Alright, let's fix these. The one thing. Ooh. Alright, let's see. Anything else I gotta fix? We got these. I'll take that. Do you think I can get one more? I need one more skill point to unlock the ticket machine. Everything looks like it's been repaired though. Yeah, everything's been about repaired. I truly need to get some vendor staff, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Let me get another hot dog. Ah. Low and star. Thank you for the check-in. Shizuku! Hello, sweetie. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. How are you? I'm currently running a 2-star water park. You are more than welcome to show up in my humble abode where we treat all of those a good time. We treat everyone to a fair share of love and admiration and hammer smashing. You may be wondering about the hammer smashing. Don't worry about it. You are safe. My my friends are free of hammer smashing. I'll just shove you into the pool. Doing well. Oh my god, I see you're still trying to get an amazing water park empire. I'm worried. No. We just deal with thief criminals. People who think they can enter the premises free of charge. They just get attacked with a hammer. Sometimes they just need to feel the force that a nail does, you know? It's nothing serious, you know? They never get sent to the hospital. They usually go home right after a massive headache, you know? It's nothing scary. Don't worry. I love it. Yay! She loves. Now I'm wondering if she's saying that for her safety or because she actually loves it. What do you guys think? Do you think she's saying that for her safety or because she really loves it? Nah, I think she really loves it. She's not scared of the Cloud Kingdom employees, right? Because I would do this. Oh my god. You're so base for that. Oh my god. Alright, we're just clearing the trash. Ooh, let me just get this little buddy. There is like one trash on the ground. Alright, I think we just need to go to sleep and we can start our day tomorrow. Alright, here's the goal, guys. We will earn $2,000, but we are also going to be purchasing a whatchamacallit. We're gonna be purchasing a automatic ticket maker, and that's gonna get us to level 3, to our 3rd star. And then after we unlock the 3rd star, we can get vendors. So I don't have to keep, you know, fucking serving people hot dogs and lemonades. You missed graffiti? Oh, did I really? I did, not the Glizzy Nation. The Glizzy Nation grazing our presence once again. Thank you for the check-in, Blaze. I appreciate you so fucking much. I'll be lurking around, need to recharge after all the rivals matches I did. Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely. I'll be here. Ooh, if you're gonna get a snack, get one for me too, please. What's bro doing? What is bro doing? I'm just gonna stand at the hot dog place and get ready to serve hot dogs because this is probably the only thing that I'm gonna ever be required to do besides like, you know, oh my god, there's like a cute little, look at this cute little cup. It's so cute. I have a bunch of cups like that. Like I like collecting Starbucks cups. I swear Japan has it the best. Okay, Japan has all these beautiful, gorgeous Starbucks cups that you could get. While we all have the same Starbucks cup over here in America. Like, it's so lame. Facts, not the hot dog. Listen, I have spit a loogie on each one of these dogs, but I'll make sure you guys don't get the ones with the loogie. Nah. It's the beginning of the morning. It's an hour in and we only have a few people walking around. Yeah, we definitely need that ticket system. We need that ticket system so we can get more people. Oh wait, my dumbass. I was supposed to go give out flyers. You should come. You should totally come. My dumbass was supposed to give out flyers. That's why we don't have any people coming. Because I haven't been giving out flyers. That's why. Don't worry, guys. Every morning you have to give out flyers. The more flyers you give out, the more people come. Somebody wants a hot dog. Somebody wants a hot dog. I'm on it. There you go. You want a plain Jane? You got it. Alright, time to give out more flyers. Oh, you should totally come. Wasting my goddamn flyer money. Hey! Oh, I think I can make it. Warning! Already wants to take it. Hey, you should come. Oh, you really want to come. You should come. You should totally come. You guys should totally come. Hell yeah! Come to the Cloud Kingdom. Already wants to take it. I love beating people with the fucking hammer, bro. Like, you can't pick this shit up. Beating people with the hammer has got to be the best. Alright, we're gonna make some more flyers, get some more people in. We're gonna try and get 100 people in today. We need to make sure this is the most successful day we've ever encountered here at the Cloud Kingdom Water Park. Are you guys coming? You should come. You should come. Any more people? Any more people? Any more people walking the streets? Going places? You should come. You should come. Stop walking away from me. What is wrong with you? He thinks he's gonna get away from me. He thinks he's gonna get away from me from calling my place boring. She walks the streets hammering people if they say no to her. Alright, he wants to come. I was getting ready to take my hammer out. Yeah, he better say yes. Oh my god, someone needs a shower. Alright, we're gonna get you a mustard hot dog. Don't worry, I'm on it. Mustard hot dog. Mustard! And then they wanted a lemonade. Alright, let's see what's going on. Ooh, we're at 5. Yes! Okay, so now we're gonna buy that ticket machine right now. Let's go. Alright, we're gonna sell tickets. 50 tickets with that machine. Where's the machine? Ooh, over here. Yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, let me make some more. Ooh, let me make some more flyers. More flyers. More flyers. Okay, what's going on? Hot dog? Hot dog, hot dog, hot dog. We're moving in. Add mustard. I want a hot dog. I'm kind of hungry. What should I get to eat, guys? Add both. I wonder if we have any hot dogs. Oop. I'm sorry. I only gave him a cup. I only gave him a cup. Sorry. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. Who's screaming over there like fucking Goku? The low jumper is broken? Wait, what? Who's taking photos of people? Who's this? 6 hours, teen, slide pass. You got it. Ooh, they paid from outside. W. 4 hours, teen, slide pass. Welcome in the glizzies. Reporting in Ayumii. Welcome in Private Akira. Welcome in. We are currently moving very quickly on our establishment, getting many people in, getting as many people as we possibly can. We are trying our best to make sure this establishment is the best establishment in all the universe. And I need you on guard, protecting us. Make sure there are no thieves. You and Apoco will be working together, making sure the equipment is running smoothly. Making sure everybody has a arm wristband. Oh, shit. Hold on. People are drowning. I didn't realize it before because I just kept hearing noises. Nobody's dead, right? There we go. Hold on, they said something was broken. I'm so sorry. Wait, hold on. There's a criminal on the premises. Apoco, I need you to the front at once. Oh, shit. I think I beat him by accident. Get out of here. Who's fucking taking pictures? Okay, hello, hot dog. Oh, we don't have any hot dogs. Oh god, I have so much to do. Oh god, I have so much to do. Add a lemon. Oh my god, people are dying. We got graffiti everywhere. This place is a fucking mess. We need to hire a maid. Stats! And I'm talking stats! What did I come here for? Oh, the hot dog is what I came here for. Let's go. Did you see that? mega air, bro. I don't know how I did that, but we got mega air. And ketchup. Let's get the lemonade. You just want a lemonade? Easy. Plain hot dog? Easy. You just want a lemonade with lemon? Oh my god, I love people who want their lemonades with lemon. They really make sense. Excuse me, ma'am. I know I may be cleaning your feet as I am swabbing the deck, but you must please get the fuck out of the way. Get the fuck out of the way! There we go. Let me clean this. Let me clean this. There we go, there we go, there we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. There we go, there we go. We're keeping our places clean and tidy as we possibly can. If we see anybody doing graffiti, we're gonna beat their asses. Beat them with a stick! Okay, let's see what's going on. Ooh, we got some cleaning to do. Oops. There we go. Oh my god, I'm gonna need some more garbage cans, I'm not gonna lie. Uh-oh, somebody drowning? Guess waited for a hot dog too long. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm trying my best to keep up with all the mess going on. It's not going very well, guys. There's too many people that I could keep up with. There we go. I avoided her somehow. I somehow avoided her. And with the trash can nearby, and they still throw it on the floor. There's like garbage everywhere. Oh my god. Why am I in a 2-minute queue on Rivals? Oh, that's tough. Who's drowning? Somebody's drowning! Guys, we're only gonna be open for a little while longer. Oh, they still drowning. I totally forgot. I really don't be caring about the people drowning, bro. Like, I truly don't. It's not because I don't want to care about them, but it's just like, it's too much added work onto top of what I'm doing. Can't you see I'm trying to keep the establishment clean and running efficiently without all of the mess and mishap that you guys are causing in this establishment? Push! Oh my god, people are always waiting for a hot dog. And lemonade. Hold on, somebody came in here. I saw somebody sneak in. There we go. We got him. Oh my god, we both slipped. No slipping. No! Oh. It really pisses me off when you slip the second time. Like, that should not be a thing, bro. You should not have to slip 2 times. Don't worry, I got you, Blake. Don't worry, I got you guys. Ooh, this one's dirty. Guys, this might be the most successful day we've had. $3,000 are about to be entered into our bank account. Let me just fix that. Damn. Never mind. Took away like a good chunk of it to pay for the people who work here. How awful. After the day is done, I just feel such a relief because there's so much running around, so much just skibbity nonsense that I just feel the weight release off my shoulders, you know? Not that I'm not having fun though, 'cause this is a lot of fun. Yeah, I need a snack though. I definitely need a snack. So I think I'm gonna go get some chips or something. I got some cheese doodles, but I kind of want my other chip that I have. Ooh. All right, we did a lot. I I don't even know where to start to repairing things. But I'm not gonna repair everything because I'm just gonna try to keep the place as clean as possible. Because I think now that we have the ticket master thing, people should be in here a lot more. So I need to unlock and hire a fucking additional worker, like truly. Thank you for the check-in. Hi, champ. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful Tuesday already. We are currently playing Waterpark Simulator. We're holding our Cloud Kingdom water park at the utmost esteem. Only those who are worthy enough to pass beyond these doors will be able to go into the gates of heaven. Are you one of the worthy? Or are you a simpleton? An idiot in the flock who's just there bearing their wound. Let's beat this one. Let's beat this one. I know, so poetic, right? I just have a way with words sometimes. A way of gibberish. No. You telling me you could not wait? You shat on the floor? No fucking way. They could not wait till they shit the floor. Animals. Barbaric. Even. What the hell? I need a trash bag. This is perfect because there's so much trash everywhere. I buy multiple trash bags or trash places, and they still throw shit on the ground and on the floor and in the pool. That's the craziest shit to me. In the pool? I don't even know where the fucking getting coffee comes from. We don't even sell coffee here. Not yet, anyways. I do believe it will be an expansion. Just not yet. Let's go to sleep and start the next day. And while I do that, I'm gonna grab a snack. Let me grab some chips. Oh man. Okay. I munched the chips and I'm back. So, I'm gonna play for like 15 more minutes, and we're gonna play on this. And then after that, we're ending and we're rating. So our goal here, okay, to end this episode, we have to try our best to get vendors, because fuck, the hot dog stands are so difficult to keep up with. I'm not gonna lie. Or at least a maid. A maid would be so helpful until we can unlock the vendors. You know? Well, not a maid, like a janitor. Hold on. Ooh, basic vending machine food. Wait, hold on. There was something I was looking for. Where's the... Hold on, let me think about this. Oh, hiding level 3 plus a person. Yes. This is what we need. This is why we need 3 stars. So we're going to... I'm not going to work or focus on all the chaos going on. I'm just going to hope for the best. Okay, I'm going to just hope for the best. Look at all these people who won tickets. Oh my goodness. Not for you, not for you. Okay. I don't have much time, so I just have to try my best to try to recruit as many people as I possibly can. Alright. That's what we're gonna try here. We're gonna try and recruit as many people as we possibly can. We're gonna go print more flyers. There's the ticket booth area. There's the pay in cash area. Are you locked in? I'm locked in. Okay, I'm locked in. We need to get as many people as we possibly can to come through, to go in, to be a part of our ecosystem. All 3 of them said it was boring. What the fuck? That's fucking crazy, bro. What? Alright, W. W. Alright, we're ready on it. We're already on it like turkey. There will not be a person who will leave here unhappy. There will not be a person who will leave here unhappy. We're gonna try our best to keep it as clean as possible. So sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm actually gonna be nice for the last remaining minutes. Okay, who's drowning? Of course you're drowning right where I can't throw it. Alright, we're gonna try to be on the lemonades tonight and the hot dogs if possible. Ooh, excuse me. That's the goal. The lemonades, the hot dogs, the cleaning. The upkeep, the upkeep, the upkeep. We're gonna try and be on the upkeep, you know? There we go. No, I'm so sorry. Why are you taking pictures of her, you asshole? Alright, nobody broke in? General upkeep. General upkeep. There we go. The park seems to be doing well. Gotta get her. Do not walk in this puddle. Do not walk in the puddle! Oh my god! Every person who I just said not to walk in the puddle walked in the goddamn puddle! Come on! It's common knowledge! Avoid the puddle at all costs. my god, another person's drowning. Another person's drowning. You gotta be kidding me. I got that in there. People want lemonades and hot dogs. So sorry, so sorry. So sorry. Add ice.
Yeah.
Plain. Plain. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best. Oh my god, why is she looking at me like that? Yo, what's going on, Avery? What that neck do? Oh my god! What does that neck do? Oh, I could be giving out more flyers. Like, truly, you see that, Dazzle? So, like, I know I'm not the only one. Alright, you want to take it? Alright, there we go. Meh? Who's this? What about you? Having a blast? Let's go! Someone's drowning. Someone's drowning. Where's my mop? Someone's drowning. Oh. You live, you can now call me Daz. I'm dead. I'm sorry. Oh, where's the hot dog? Y'all gotta wait, y'all gotta wait, y'all gotta wait. I gotta get the hot dogs. I gotta get the hot dogs. I gotta get the hot dogs. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Restock. Alright, mustard. There you go. Mustard. Both. You want both? You want ice? Alright, somebody's drowning. Anybody else drowning? Let me get a garbage bag. And make sure everything on the floor stays pretty tidy. Oh my god. In front of my face is kind of insane too. Y'all need to get the fuck out of the way! Like, come on! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, bro? No, she wanted to get hit. Because why would you stand in front of my mom? Otherwise. You wouldn't stand in front of my mop otherwise. Add both. Here, you could have that guy's hot dog. Oh my god. Guess waited too long for a ticket? Oh no. Bro's on break. 6 hours. Teen. Slide pass. Now people can buy their own tickets, so it's pretty cool. Oops. Threw the trash in the... Threw the trash away. Alright, let's see what's going on. Trying with the general upkeep, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Don't get up, don't get up, don't get up. Don't get up, don't get up. The things that get the dirtiest are the bathrooms. And the shower. Well, actually, everything gets dirty. Hot dog? Hot dog? Hot dog? Hot dog?
Yeah.
Somebody's drowning. Ooh. There we go. Ah. I'm gonna call you Ayumii. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. I'm Ayumii. Let's see, is there anything I can pick up? Is this pool filthy or am I crazy? I must be crazy. Okay, add ketchup. Restock is required. Fuck. Your stalkers required. Oh my god, somebody's drowning while I'm trying to give people. Hey yo! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Did you see that? I knocked the whole line out. Oh shit, a bitch dead. Oh my god, somebody got injured and I'm being fined. I'm being fined because they died. And their ass is stinky. Anybody else drowning? Anybody else stinky? I gotta mop this. Oh my god! Why would she run out? Build 5 trash bins with 2 prestige. God damn, bro. I said I would try. I didn't say I would succeed. Sorry, it's not you, it's me. It's not me, it's you, actually. I gotta... There we go. There we go. Ooh, dodge. Dodge Ayumii. Dodge Ayumii. Alright, we're cooking them. Woo! The park is being run. What is that? Is that hot dogs? You know where hot dogs? Who's screaming? There we go. Ah, now the park is running normally. There we go. Now I can actually keep with upkeep. There we go. Upkeep of cleaning the park. Oh my god, Daxton is sleeping on the job. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let me just save y'all. Let me just save y'all. I have all these research points, but they won't level me up, bro. Road to 3-star. Let me get 3 stars already. If I can be a 3-star, I can end this playthrough and I can go to sleep. Alright, 52, 108. Yo, we have 108 people. Bro. That's gotta be illegal. Ooh, cashier level training. You know what, I'll do it. How can I level up? Let me just, you know what? Nah, yeah, we're gonna need, I think we're gonna need a vendor. Restocker. Restocker. We're gonna need a vendor, bro. We're gonna need a vendor. Lifeguards, bigger, let me see. I don't want to upgrade the park size yet, not gonna lie. I could do it for free. Restock staff, vendor training. Where's the vendors though? Bro, we haven't even upgraded the where's the vendors? We need one more. For staff improvement. This is the goal. Gotta get him out the park. He's here after hours. The park is closed, buddy. You gotta get out. All right, let's get to work. We gotta level up. We gotta level up. Oh my god, there's a goddamn banana peel on the ground. Did I get it? Okay. Cleaning. There we go. Mop. Hammer. Efficiency upgraded. Mop. Hammer. There we go. Upgrade. I'm gonna do everything one by one. There we go. This is not broken? Okay. Woo! Alright. That's this side of the park done. There's this. I'm locked in. All bits of focus. Ugh. Okay. Oh, who is that? Bro swimming around for free. For free! Bro gets paid to work here. And he's swimming around in the park for free. New research mode. Thank God. Woo, we're almost done. Almost done. There we go. There we go. Free water! Build with 2 prestige. Building them. I'm building them. I'm building them. Ooh, rainfall shower. Okay. This looks like a new shower. Ooh, a new bathroom. Let's try to do that actually. Where's my sledgehammer? Alright guys, we're gonna actually upgrade some stuff. I feel like actually I should upgrade everything. Cause I'm just trying to get to level 3. I wanna upgrade everything next time. Hammer, 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 hammer. Sledge, 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 sledge. My nose is so clean. There we go. There we go. Oh, there's one more. Ooh, all I see is tag bottom. Then I saw tag. I'm fucking dead. What's this? Hi, Fatal. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. How are you? Oh, shit. That is not what I wanted to do. Okay. Let me unlock. What is it? Faster walking? No. Hold on. There's like something you can get for the employees. Ooh, staff movement. There we go. Staff movement. I think that's pretty good. What we need is that extra staff. Like right away. Vendor training level 1. Allows you to hire vendors who sell food and drinks. Hold on, can I just hire them without... Job? What? You could take a loan out? Sorry, my nose is stuffy. Hold on. The bratty bottom XH goes fucking crazy, Daza. I'm dead. I'm so dead, bro. I'm so dead. I'm dead. So let's see. What would they do? This is a ticketer. Restocker. Restocker. Hold on. Wait, let me see. Efficiency, precision. Oh, bro, I don't know. We just gotta run another day. Actually, no, I'm just gonna call it here, bro, because that's a whole extra few minutes that I've been live. We could just do this in the next episode. I'll probably play this on Thursday or something, because like, what? There's so much fucking going on. I just really want to get level 3. Like, that's not much to ask for. I just want level 3. And I feel like I should get level 3 right now. I should have level 3. Because once I have level 3, I will be so happy. But we didn't get it this episode, and that's okay. I gotta be happy with what we've done, you know? We've done a lot today. We've gone through a lot. We've did a lot. You know what it might be? You know what it might be? What if I, you know? Oh, we could put some benches around. Ooh, we could put some high level, you know? Look at all this stuff we can put down. Look at all this stuff we could put down. Wait, I think I made a mistake. There we go. I destroyed it. Lucky. I wonder what I must do to get level 3. 3-star. No, we're just gonna save. And we're gonna end game because I am tired. Not gonna lie, I feel like this game, I would enjoy it. Oh my god, no, truly. I really like this because it feels like The Sims. It does feel like The Sims. So that's what I think they cooked with. You know? I think they really cooked with that. Same, I'm sleepy. Yeah, it's time for Betty. Bye, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging and chilling with me. I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful time. I do have to go though because like I've been here for like almost 5 hours and I am running on 3 hours of sleep. So I'm gonna go to the hair salon tomorrow. We're gonna get our hair done and we're gonna come back a prettier Ayumii as I get ready for my trip. But wish me good luck. Oh my god. Let's join Livy and go reply together. Alright. Alright. We are going to raid. Who should we raid? Ooh, let's raid. Ooh, let's raid. Let's raid this new person that I see. Good night, Dazzy. We're gonna raid this new person that I see. Lily X Levy. They're also playing the game that I'm playing, but their place looks, oh my god, their place looks so much more cleaner than ours. They have like a beautiful color combination. They're doing a lot. Oh, I think it's 2 people. Oh, wait, that's cool. I think it's 2 people. Let's go check it out though. All right, gamers. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging. Have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll probably do something simple. Don't forget, we're doing an Overwatch competition, so if you would like to join, you're more than welcome. Grab that shit and let's hit the ranks. I'm going to check and see how many people applied, so let's see. All right, gamers. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging. I know it was shorter than usual, but I'm so sleepy, so I would stay, but I should go. Bye, gamers. Love you. Bye. And thank you so much for the raids. Bye.